city government to solve this issue. Yet another year, we have taken money from reserve, not borrowing it because there's no plan to pay it back. We need to solve this problem. The citizens, you're already balancing the budget to keep the lights on our backs. I'm a senior citizen, a retiree on a fixed income. You know what? The higher sales tax hurts me when I go to the grocery store. A lot of my weekly items are indeed taxable items. That sales tax comes out of my food budget. Yet, we can't talk about innovative ideas like plant-based medicine, which throughout history, and I'm a history major, has existed. In fact, modern pharmacology is based on plant-based medicine. My chemotherapy medication was derived from the bark of the Pacific yew tree, plant-based, until it was synthesized into a very modern, aggressive chemotherapy treatment. It really boils down to math. So let's get deep in the weeds. Basic math. Addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. You know, we can solve our financial problems with basic math. And with basic math, I would like to touch on another issue. I live in District 1. Amy, we've talked, we've prayed together. We have a lot in common. I have intentionally stayed above and out of the fray, although it's pained me. Thank you.
Our next speaker is John Ingersani, followed by Roland Geyer.
Hello, my name is John Angersani. I'm a 33-year resident of Westminster in District 1. Councilman Amy Fan is my council representative. From the moment Councilman West was inaugurated to the council, she's been the subject of relentless attacks from external interest groups, many originating from this very podium. Section 509, subsection 2AA labels terms weak and despicable as grounds for breaching the conduct of members. Yet, nearly every council meeting, the language permitted to address Councilwoman West is not only despicable, but often includes personal attacks on her intelligence, attire, and her accent also as a native-born Vietnamese. Myself, as an Italian-born immigrant who's faced a similar ridicule, I'm appalled that her colleagues on the dais remain silent while these attacks continue. While it's appalling that we have a council member show up late to Little League games, lie about hot dog menus, and also display her OCD in rearranging seats at public events, in my opinion, it's far more appalling that the council puts the city at risk for a potential libel lawsuit arising from several of the complaints in 509. For example, the most egregious is 509 2A subsection 2 part C. The psychoanalysis of Councilperson West is written in a manner to deceive the public in believing a licensed professional has evaluated her, when in fact the accusation is purely conjecture in nature. There's also potential risk with 509 section 2R. The council's accusation of Councilman West filing a false police report implies that she's violated the law, when in fact, according to the voice of OOC, quote, police investigation found Manzo committed no crime at this time, end quote. Filing a false police report is a crime in California that can result in a 6-month jail sentence and subject to a $1,000 fine. Well, $1,000 chump change compared to the money the council put the city at risk because of such slanderous attacks. I won't even go into the potential financial harm to the city should Councilwoman West press criminal charges of potential civil rights violations. Our city is in constant battle to avoid bankruptcy Your primary solution is to hold residents hostage and force tax increases in exchange for our release. We begrudgingly pay the ransom by voting higher taxes. However, we didn't sign up to fund your never-ending internal battles. Now, of course, thank you.
Our next speaker is Ronald Geyer, followed by Gigi Vo.
Thanks. For a minute there, I thought I had a new name. That's because I can't write, okay? So she read what I wrote. Nice to be here again, and it's always very interesting. I'm here about her, and about my initial feelings about the first couple of times that I was here, watching what was going on. And the reason I was doing that was because when there was a problem on a city council meeting in other areas, I made note of that. And there was a difficult thing for one woman on another city councilman, where a guy was really hounding her. And to the point where I was so afraid that she was going to have a heart attack. I mean, these are serious things that were going on. It was Irvine, so I don't think I have to go into a lot of detail on that kind of thing. But I stayed down there for every city council meeting, just about, for 2 years. I live in Chino Hills. So I made sure that I was there for her. And all that meant was when she was really being nailed and all of this guy sitting right next to her, all I did was smile. And I did that for 2 years. And they got the job done, but it got her through the hard times when she had to go through hard times. So when I first came here to the first meeting that I came to because of what we were dealing with in Los Angeles, the fighting that was going on and the blistering that was going on, and don't you do this, and shut up, and all of this was completely the opposite of what I expected, but I've been there before. And that's exactly what I saw when I first came here. You've had wonderful expressions here from people. They really feel what they've been saying. They have their reasons, but there's some really qualified people that have given you ways out of this without having to do anything else. And that is just to open your hearts and be there. It's worth it. For me, it was worth 2 years of coming to a city council meeting to make a difference in someone's life or something that was needed. Okay, so my heart's here. I go to every city council meeting where I live, and I've been made known, awarded for that and things like that, but that's not why I do it. I love being here. I'm 82 years old. I'm having a blast, okay? And she works her tail off, doing new things. She's like JFK was when he first became president.
Thank you.
And I shook hands with him the day he accepted his party's nomination in the Coliseum. So I know what I'm talking about. I was just fresh out of high school. I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to the voices. Thank you very much for your good hearts. Well done.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Gigi Vo, followed by Hue Donetto.
Thưa Hội đồng Thành phố, tôi tên là GV. Tôi là người đã từng đi vận động tranh cử cho bà nghị viên Amy và đã theo dõi sát những hoạt động của bà kể từ khi bà đắc cử. Tôi có ý kiến về nghị trình 5.9 như sau. Tôi có thể nói Amy là một kẻ vào dân cử để xây dựng tên tuổi của bà. Bà bất chấp luật pháp và đạo đức, chỉ nhắm mục đích trèo cao lên dân biểu liên bang. Như bao lần cô đã ra tranh cử và đã thất cử, bẻ bàn. Là cư dân thành phố, chúng tôi khẳng định không chấp nhận những dân cử mượn con đường chính trị để tạo phe đảng, gây mất đoàn kết, gây bất ổn cho thành phố. Amy chỉ là một kẻ bất tài, vô đạo đức. Bà ta muốn trèo cao bằng cách ăn dạ, la làng, vu khống, chụp mũ hại đồng diện. Amy đặt lợi ích cá nhân, cái tôi của mình, lên trên lợi ích của cư dân. Chúng tôi cần một hội đồng thành phố đoàn kết, cùng chia sẻ ý tưởng, tri thức, trách nhiệm để các nhà đầu tư chọn thành phố này để vào đầu tư. Và cư dân chúng tôi thấy thành phố Westminster là nơi đáng sống. Việc Censure ME là một việc rất cần thiết và xác đáng, không những cho nghị viên ME mà còn là bài học cho những ai muốn vào Hội đồng thành phố để khuếch trương thân thế, phe đảng, mưu cầu vinh thân phì gia. Tôi cũng phản đối item 5.10. Đó là việc phán xét của tòa. Theo tôi, hai ông bà nghị viên Emmy và Nam Quang hết cách trả thù bà phó thị trưởng Kim Ly Hồ, nên đem cái chuyện GoFundMe vào cuộc họp thành phố. Vừa sai nguyên tắc, sai luật, hai người bất chấp, vừa tốn tiền thuế của dân và mất thời giờ của mọi người. Tôi rất tiếc phải nói thẳng trước Hội đồng thành phố là hai nghị viên Emmy và Nam Quang chỉ là hai con rối được dựng đứng trên cái ghế nghị viên và bị rối dây nên nó quậy quọ đạp lung tung, khiến cho kẻ làm chủ của hai con rối này cũng bị bối rối. Tôi xin dừng nơi đây. Xin cảm ơn tất cả mọi người đã lắng nghe. Đây.
Good evening, mayors, councils, and everyone present. I am Gigi Vo. I am the person who campaigned for Councilwoman Amy and closely follow her activities since she was elected. I have comment on Agenda 5.9. I can say Amy is just someone who entered politics to build her name regardless of the law and ethics. Just for the purpose of climbing to the top of the ladder, someone like big Congress, like she has run for office many times and humiliating defeat. As a resident of the city, I affirm I do not accept elected officials who use political means to create factions, cause disunity, and destabilize the city. Amy is just incompetent and immoral. She wants to climb high by gossiping, lying, making false accusations, slandering her colleague. Amy put her personal interest and ego above the interests of the resident. We need a united city council that share ideas, knowledge, and responsibility so that investors choose this city to invest. As residents, we find Westminster a worthy place to live. The censuring of Amy is necessary and appropriate, not for only Councilwoman Amy, but also a lesson for those who want to join the city council to expand their prestige, faction, and seek honor for their family. Item 510. I also object to item 510, which is court judgment. In my opinion, Councilmember Amy and Nam Kwan ran out of way to take revenge on Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho. So they brought the issue of GoFundMe into the city council meeting, which is both against the principle, against the law, and regardless of harming people. It's a waste of taxpayer money and a waste of everyone's time. I'm sorry to say this directly to City Council. The two council members, Amy and Nam Kwan, are just two puppets placed upright in the City Council dais, and the string would tangle. So they stir around and kick around, causing the advisor of these two puppets to fall and confuse. I am finished here. My sincere thanks to everyone who has listened, listening. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hui Donetto, followed by Dao Tran.
Chào ông thị trưởng và các hội đồng thành phố. Tôi tên là Huệ, là cư dân của thành phố và là một cử tri luôn luôn theo dõi đồng hành với Hội đồng thành phố trong những mùa bầu cử. Và các công tác thiện nguyện và sinh hoạt cộng đồng. Tôi khẳng định một điều về nghị trình 5.9 rằng việc censure nghị viên Amy là cần thiết và tất nhiên. Đó là một bài học về đạo đức của một dân cử, về sự khiêm tốn, ý thức đoàn kết, làm việc teamwork, về sự tuân thủ quy tắc, quy định, quy chế và luật pháp dân chủ. Amy phán quét trong nửa nhiệm kỳ, nghị viên của mình chỉ là một con rối quấy nát thành Hội đồng thành phố. Một con người bằng cấp bình thường, không có công việc làm phát huy được tấm bằng của mình để nói lên khả năng lực hạn chế. Vậy mà bà ta còn kiêu căng, ngạo mạn, xem thường đồng viện, đặt cái tôi của mình quá lớn, phá vỡ sự đoàn kết trong hội đồng. Trong nhiều thập niên trước, chưa từng có dân cử nào sau khi buổi họp thành phố đem ra những nghị trình bị fail là hôm sau ra bên ngoài tổ chức họp báo để ăn vạ, nói xấu, lên án, kết tội các nghị viên say no với nghị trình của mình. Thật là nực cười. Cô Amy quá hiểu dân chủ là gì không? Với sự tiếp tay mù quáng của vị nghị viên Nam Quang là sự chỉ đạo của thế lực phe nhóm, bà Amy càng phát huy sự lộng hành, lộng ngôn, vượt quá giới hạn đạo đức nhân cách của một dân cử. Dưới góc nhìn cư dân, việc censure nghị viên Amy là thỏa đáng và cần tiến hành nhanh để kết thúc việc tốn chi phí tài chính và thời gian của Hội đồng thành phố và cư dân. Nghị viên Amy lộng việc chụp mũ chính trị vào việc censure bà, thể hiện sự ngoan cố, không có thái độ tự kiểm soát mình, mà chỉ muốn mình là ngôi sao. Bất kỳ ai phản biện điều gì, Amy xúc phạm là chụp mũ. Về vấn đề 5.10, tôi có thể nói đó là sự điên cuồng giãy giụa của hai nghị viên Amy và Nam Quang một cách vô liêm sỉ, vô đạo đức. Tôi mong hai người phải tự nhìn lại mình vì cử tri quá chán ghét và xem thường hai vị. Xin cảm ơn đã lắng nghe.
Hello, Mayor and Council members. My name is Wei, a resident of the city, a voter who always follows and supports the City Council during election seasons with volunteering work and community activities. I affirm one thing regarding item 5.9. Censure Councilmember Amy is necessary and justifiable. It is a lesson in the ethics of an elected official, in humility, in solidarity, in teamwork, in compliance with rules, regulations, statutes, and democratic laws. Amy Fan West, during her half term as council member, was just a puppet. Disrupting the city council meetings, despite having a degree, shows her limited ability and capacity. Yet she is also arrogant, conceited, looks down on her colleagues, and puts her ego too high and destroys the unity of the council. In the past decades, there's never been an elected official who, after a council meeting where her proposed item failed, went on YouTube or had one of her so-called press conferences publicly the next day to complain, condemn, and convict the members who said no to her proposed items. What a crybaby. Does she understand democracy? With the blind support of Councilmember Nam Kwan and the direction of factional forces, Ms. Amy further promoted her tyranny and blatant language, exceeding the ethical and moral limits of an elected official. From the residents' perspective, censure of NV Amy is appropriate and should be done quickly to end the financial and time-consuming expense of the City Council and residents. Councilmember Amy, inserting political labels into her censure shows stubbornness, has no self-control, only wants to be a star. Anyone who objects is insulted and labeled by Amy. About item 5.10, I can say it is the mad struggle of two council members, Amy and Nam Kwan, shamelessly and immorally. I hope you two look back at yourselves because voters hate and despise you too much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dow Tran. Dow Tran, followed by Viet Youth Media.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Dow Tran. And first of all, I want to talk to Council Member Amy Van West. I am the one who campaigned for you 2 years ago. But I can say today I'm very upset with your conducts and behaviors that brought to the censure that you deserve it tonight. Remember when you teach your children when they're kindergarten, you teach them the alphabet, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And today when I read the staff report, I can find that you violated the City of Westminster Code of Ethics all the way from A to Z, which is 26 issues. And I think you are guilty, and you deserve the censure. Getting a censure is a pain, But you need that pain to gain. I hope you learn from your mistake and correct yourself. So in 2026, I can campaign for you again, okay? Now about item 510. It is so ridiculous. I don't know what council members Amy and Nam Quan thought when they brought this to the city council. Because council members are not jurors, and mayor is not judge. So this issue should bring to the court, not to the city council. So it is so ridiculous to bring it here. And I think what you need to do for two of you is when we vote for you, I campaign for both Nam Quan and Amy. So my message for you, because you focus on the work of the city, how can you bring the benefit to the city and its residents? Thank you for listening.
Our next speaker is Kai Dao, followed by Connie Cohen.
Sorry about that. Oh, can you start your class again? Good evening. Well, we got July off, and this is how we start coming back with this. You know, I saw that we have quite a few items here, and most of the speeches that residents come up here are concerning with, I guess it's item 5.9 and 5.10. So I don't know if Mayor Charlie Chi Nguyen would remember how you guys reduce our speaking time to take care of city's business. Like I said, I don't know if this is what you really call city's business. To me, it's more like, has more to do with personal gain, personal fame, personal credit, personal shame. And since it's election season, I'd like to remind if anyone remember in 2012 when I filed to run. The reason I ran is I said the city is on the verge of bankruptcy. You guys have no solution. And eventually, 12 years later, the solution that you guys came up with is raising tax. Most of you guys are Republican. I don't know if raising tax is the solution that your party would approve. I'm glad that people are repeating the phrase that I described you guys, why I've been against you guys, condemning you guys as public servants, as not worthy to represent us. Because in Vietnamese, it's that Vinh Thân Phì Gia. So you're in it for the money to profit yourself, your group, racketeering. So I hope, I heard that in this election, you guys are divided into two groups and competing to see which group is gonna have the majority to control the city. So I hope you learn from Andrew Doe. The county is investigating how he managed $200 million of the county's fund. And I hope somebody is gonna pay for it with even facing charge and go to prison even. So good luck with your cronyism. And I think I can describe you guys as inept, incompetent, immoral, and corrupted. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Connie Cohen, followed by Monique Nguyen.
Good evening. First, I'd like to really give kudos, thanks to the people who decided to print 5.9 and 5.10 to make it easy for the rest of us to see. There were more copies in the back when I got there, so if you don't have one, I can suggest you, the public, go get one so you're able to read along. I vote, if I were a council member, I would vote to censure Amy Fan West. Censure, not censor. I want to thank the people who pointed that out. I agree 5.10 doesn't have any business here. Regarding permits for RVs, I hope you ask a lot of questions as to why staff and police department recommended 12 versus 36 as you make your decision. I have a wonder of how many days each one of those permits are for. Is it just for one night, or is a permit for 4 nights? 36 nights at 4 nights a pop, you would have a lot of people living in their RVs on our streets, and I just am curious about that. I don't have any information to know one way or the other. And if I were in your shoes, I would support the Midway City Sanitary District's ask for donation. And I would be very interested in hearing the woman who had lived in many places and returned here finish her conversation. I have 1:20 left if anybody wants to give her my time. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Monique Nguyen, followed by Nat Lin.
Monique Nguyen, followed by Nhật Linh.
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Monique. I suggest definitely censure Miss Amy West. Please, everybody, please go through the 20+ subject that she had been violated in the past. She has been council member over a year. Any cooperative council member should be adjusted to the rule and ethical manner. But Amy was not. Apparently, she never thinks that she has to change anything. We will not have to tolerate her attitude and wrongdoing any more day. Please censure her to stop any more problem she may cause in the future. And item 510. Member Amy and Nam Quan had chosen to listen to one side of the party for the purpose to defame the vice mayor's reputation. They are together had interfered in other people's business, and the council has no jurisdiction to anything about that either. City Council has more important thing to do than this matter. Please, Council Member Amy and Nam Quan, you are wasting city staff time and resources. Item 510, Council Member, please toss this item 510 aside. Thank you.
Next speaker is Nat Lin, followed by representative from American Citizen Defense Coalition.
Xin chào ông thị trưởng và Hội đồng thành phố Westminster. Tôi tên là Nhật Linh, là cư dân của thành phố Westminster. Tôi xin có ý kiến về nghị trình 5.9. Việc censure nghị viên Amy chưa đủ để nói hết sự ngang ngạnh, ngang ngược, ngang tàn, bất chấp của nghị viên tinh quái này. Amy là một người có bản chất háo thắng, tham vọng quyền lực, địa vị, vô độ. Muốn mình là ngôi sao chính trị, nhanh chóng, bằng nhiều thủ đoạn, bất chấp đạo đức và pháp luật. Nhìn cái mặt của cổ kìa, rất là láo. Cổ ngồi cổ bỉm môi, miếm môi khi mà cư dân người ta phát biểu. Rất là mất dạy, censure là đúng rồi. Amy là người không chịu học hỏi để nâng cao sự hiểu biết khi làm dân cử, nhưng lại giành giật những event gặp gỡ doanh nhân, đại gia, những chức sắc chính trị. Việc Amy bỏ dở cuộc họp Hội đồng thành phố để chạy theo ve vuốt, xoa dịu doanh nhân David Dương khi ông đến cuộc họp Hội đồng thành phố trả lại bằng khen là một ví dụ điển hình về sự bất chấp luật lệ của thành phố. Và cả sự vô liêm sỉ. Amy là một nghị viên nổi loạn. Cô ta luôn cho mình đúng vì cái tôi của cô ta quá lớn. Cứ sau mỗi một cuộc họp của Hội đồng thành phố mà cô không được ủng hộ item của mình đưa ra, thì ngay hôm sau cô phải lên các kênh YouTube để la làng, để chụp mũ, để nói xấu, xúc phạm các đồng viện. Thiết nghĩ nếu như các nghị viên ở trong Hội đồng thành phố trong thành phố này đều hành động như Amy Phan West thì thành phố của chúng ta sẽ tồi tệ đến mức nào? Hả cô nghị viên Amy? Nghị trình của Amy đưa ra chỉ xoay quanh những cái việc đánh vào tâm lý cộng đồng người Việt quốc gia là cờ vàng, nhưng lại thiếu kiến thức hiểu biết. Nên nhớ rằng Westminster là một thành phố của nhiều sắc dân, chứ không phải là của riêng người Việt. Và cư dân cần một hội đồng thành phố đoàn kết cùng nhau làm việc. Những nghị quyết cần phải có giá trị lâu bền mới thu hút được doanh nghiệp, các nhà đầu tư đến với thành phố này. Về item 5.10, nghị viên Nam Quang và Amy đưa ra để buộc tội Phó Thị trưởng Kimberly Hồ. Theo tôi, cái item 5.10 này cần phải vứt sọt rác ngay, miễn bàn. Vì hai người này trả thù cá nhân một cách mù quáng, muốn biến Hội đồng thành phố thành cơ quan tòa xét xử kiện tụng à. Việc tranh chấp tiền bạc là việc kiện tụng ở tòa. Hai ông bà Nam Quang và Amy hãy kiên nhẫn, chờ gia đình người bị nạn kiện đi và chờ kết quả của tòa quyết định, rồi hãy trả thù cá nhân với Phó Thị trưởng Kimberly cũng chưa có muộn. Đúng là ngựa non hấu đá.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. My name is Nhật Linh, a resident of Westminster. I would like to have an opinion on Agenda 5.9. Censuring Council Amy is not enough to express all the stubbornness and defiance of this mischievous Council member. Amy is a person with an aggressive nature, insatiable ambition for power and status, wanting to become a political star quickly using many tricks, regardless of ethics and law. Amy is someone who refuses to learn to improve her understanding when working as an elected official, but she used every opportunity to meet businessmen, tycoons, and political dignitaries. The fact that Amy left the city council meeting while still in session to chase after the casual businessman David Zung when he returned the certificate of merit to the city council meeting is a typical example of her disregard for city rules and also shamelessness. Amy is a rebellious council member. She always thinks she is right because her ego is too big. After every meeting of the city council, and if she did not get the support for her proposed item, she had to go on YouTube channel the next day to criticize, defame, and insult her colleagues. I think if all the council members act like Miss Amy, how bad will our city be? Amy's proposed agenda only revolves around the yellow flag that belongs to the Republic of Vietnam and lacks knowledge and understanding. Remember, Council Member Amy West is Council Member Amy, Westminster is a city of many ethnicities, not just Vietnamese people. And residents need a united city council working together. Thank you.
Singapore.
Our next speaker is a representative from American Citizen Defense Coalition, followed by Terry Raines.
Good evening, Council. My name is Smithy Liu, and I came here with a friendly recommendation. I'm not here with hostility. So here's my recommendation. You all work as one body.
Did you want to wait for the mayor to come back
Oh, okay.
to address him?
Oh, it's okay? Yeah, I'll go ahead. So you're all sitting right here as one body, and my recommendation is this. If one part of your body irritate the other parts, what do? You have two options. Resolve it in private or bring it out in the public like this. And we all professionals. We understand how to operate this, and we know how to conduct our business, right? So my friend recommendation to you all is this. Tap to the source that put you in your seat. Every one of you here, the reason you're sitting here because the people vote you in, you know who they are. Tap into them first. Just like if you have one part of your body causing discomfort to the other part, what do? You go to a doctor. You don't bring it out on the street and say, oh, I itch right here, and try to scratch in front of everybody. That's unprofessional. So that is my friendly recommendation to all of you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Terry Raines.
Three minutes, 26 items. Congrats, Officers Cruz, Bruzzi, Beasley, and Chavez for the DUI arrest recognition. Item 5.6, Mayor Wynn should recuse himself for this item, a silver or gold sponsorship, but not platinum. Items 5.7 and 6.1, Councilmember West should be prohibited from attending city-paid conferences in addition to being removed from all internal and external committees. We don't want her representing us anywhere. She wants to go to D.C. to further her political career, not to help our city. Vote for Mayor Wynn and Vice Mayor Ho and or Councilmember Manzo if they want to go. ICSC was a huge success with these three. Item 5.10, this isn't city business and shouldn't be discussed in a city council meeting, period. Christine tried with the staff report based on Amy's slanderous input, but there are factual errors and omissions. I went to Amy's first press conference, there were two, and viewed videos of her, Nam Quan, and many others slandering Vice Mayor Ho and threatening to sue the city over this. I spoke to Shin, not Hassan, Amy, and whose family lives in Anaheim. Amy's slanderous conspiracy theories are total BS. The funeral was paid for. Shin did sign a legally binding contract with at least one family member present who also signed it. The beneficiary of the GoFundMe is the nonprofit standard procedure, so donations are tax deductible, but bottom line, the beef is between the family and the nonprofit, period. Show us the letter, Kimberly, and sue her bleep. Item 7.4, Amy, the habitual offender, must recuse herself from this discussion and vote and have no input on this ordinance. Lawbreakers can't be lawmakers. You all have copies of the 6-page email I sent about the numerous errors, omissions, and ambiguous language offering my edits. The Traffic Commission went against PD's recommendation of 12 permits per year, arbitrarily increasing it to 36, pushed solely by Amy's brand new commissioner, Kristen Summers, no surprise, with zero justification. The chair couldn't even recount the vote or ordinance details to me. Staff and PD, the experts, have researched and worked on this forever. We aren't a tourist beach camping destination like Huntington Beach, Kristen and Amy. The average California RVers take 3 to 4 trips a year, with 6 is the high outlier. Assuming 2 permits per trip, 12 is plenty. Item 5.9, staff was directed to bring back a list of internal external committees that West serves on to consider sanctions, but sanctions aren't mentioned and there's no separate sanction item on this agenda. Who at City Hall is purposely trying to avoid or delay the sanction discussion? We've already endured 4 friggin' meetings about Amy's crap. Do you want more? Amy, your campaign to get people to write or speak against this are pathetic. Most that live in Westminster have never set foot inside these chambers and haven't had to endure your narcissistic BS, violation of laws, and egregious behavior like we have. You lie to them saying this is to silence you. That's censor, Amy, not censure, Amy. Your naive, non-resident fans don't know the difference either, relying on your false narrative to provide their scripted comments. So go big and go home, Amy, for good. Censor Amy Fan West. Sanction Amy Fan West. Recall Amy Fan West.
We do have one final speaker, Min Teen.
Kính chào ông thị trưởng và Hội đồng thành phố. Tôi là Minh Tiên. Tôi nghĩ nghị trình số 5 và số 9 là không cần bàn cãi nhiều về tốn thời giờ nữa. Hội đồng thành phố và người đã quá nhiều buổi hội thảo và đã lãng phí quá nhiều thời gian của thành phố, cũng như những người đã liên hệ. Quyết định đã quá rõ ràng. Nghị viên Amy cần phải có khiển trách, với hy vọng có thể biết đâu bà sẽ ngừng nói dối và kiềm chế cái miệng oan oan của mình. Tự do ngôn luận không có nghĩa là bà ta cứ tiếp tục nói dối và tung tin đồn nhảm về thành phố. Ông thị trưởng và các động viên để có lợi cho bà ta. Nghị viên Amy đã lạm dụng quyền lực và nghị viên của mình để khiến mình trở nên quan trọng. Bà Amy quên mất mình chỉ là một công chức để phục vụ cho dân cư và thành phố, chứ không phải để lấy tiếng làm tiền.
Năm 9 hết rồi phải không?
Năm 9 hết rồi.
This is for item 59. Good morning, Mayor and Council. My name is Minh Tiên. I think agenda item 5.9 is no-brainer. The Council and the resident had multiple discussion meeting and had wasted enough time of the city for everyone involved. The decision is clear. Councilwoman Amy needs to be censured in the hope of maybe she would stop her lie and control her big mouth. Freedom of speech does not mean that she can lie and spread rumor about the city, the mayor, and other council members to Councilwoman Amy's advantage. Councilwoman Amy abused her powers and grandstanding to make herself important. She forgot she is just a public servant. She should act like one for a change.
Nghị trình số 5 và số 10 là một ví dụ khác về sự thiếu hiểu biết của hai nghị viên Amy và Nam Quang về luật pháp và quyền hạn. Họ nghĩ Hội đồng Thành phố Westminster có quyền hạn gì đối với những chuyện gì đang xảy ra trong các vấn đề xung đột, tranh chấp dân tư nhân. Một lần nữa, nghị viên Amy lại chọn cách lắng nghe một bên và trong quá trình đó đã tìm đủ mọi cách để cố gắng bôi nhọ và vu khống phó thị trưởng và hại danh tiếng của bà Kimberly. Một cách bất cẩn, nghị viên Amy không phải là thẩm phán và cô ấy cũng không có thẩm quyền can thiệp vào chuyện tranh chấp của người khác. Lại một lần nữa, tôi thắc mắc tại sao nghị viên Nam Quang lại hợp tác với bà Amy để đưa ra nghị trình ngớ ngẩn này. Hội đồng thành phố cũng không có thẩm quyền để can thiệp bất cứ điều gì về vụ đó. Vui lòng bỏ đi cái nghị trình vớ vẩn đó sang một bên, chỉ thảo luận đến các vấn đề phát triển kinh doanh cho thành phố. Tôi nhắc lại nhận thức chung của người dân. Hai nghị viên Amy và Nam Quang gần đây không có bất kỳ ý tưởng sáng suốt nào cho thành phố thì đừng nêu ra và lãng phí thời gian của các nhân viên cũng như tốn tiền của thành phố. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is, this is regarding item 510, I'm sorry. 510 is another example of council members Amy and Nam Quang ignorance about laws and order. What power do they think the Westminster City Council has over what is happening to private parties? Again, Councilwoman Amy chose to listen to one party and in the process trying very hard to defame and slander the vice mayor's reputation carelessly. Councilwoman Amy is no judge, and she has no right.
Time's up. Thank
Sorry.
Mayor, we have no further speakers.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I have a brief comment. Thank you. You know, Gigi, Huệ, Đào, Monique, Jacqueline, and Minton. I know that you guys mentioned that you campaigned for me. The only time I remember seeing you guys are at the Mayor Charlie event, maybe twice. I walk by myself. I never see you guys walk with me, so I don't know what you guys are talking about, but thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. All right, let her. Are you done? You done, right? Thank you. All right, next. Well, on behalf of the City Council, I would like to thank you all for coming out, attending the council meeting today. And I know that you take it out of your busy schedule to be here. We appreciate you. We listen to you. We listen to your recommendation. We will take that into consideration when we are making our decisions. So again, thank you for being here this evening. Next is a consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion, followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the City Council or staff request that specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action or discussion. With that, I motion to pull item 3.4. Any other?
Mayor, may I pull item 3.9?
3.9. Any others?
Motion to approve the remainder.
Okay, second. Motion to approve all items except for 3.4 and 3.9, pull for separate discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, seconded by Mayor Nguyen. This is to approve the consent calendar and pull items 3.4 and 3.9 for separate discussion. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen. Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
All right. Item 3.4 was pulled by me, and I would like to ask for staff report. Chief, will you please present that?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. This is Q2 crime statistics and compared with Q2 of 2023 last year. So we compare this time of year with last year's time of year. Violent crime did see a little over a 7% increase on our streets, specifically with homicides and robbery were the two biggest jumps. On a positive note, property crime was down almost 6%. The biggest drop there being burglary. We accredited the burglary drop for two different reasons. One was the arrest of a serial burglar that we believe was the person that burglarized several different storage units throughout town and in other parts of Orange County. He was arrested. We also, to date this year, have made 22 arrests for burglary. Compared to the entire last year of 2023, we had 20 arrests for burglary. So our arrests are way up. I'd like to go back to our homicides because I know that's of great concern to everyone, including myself. The two homicides we had, one was a homeless man that's still under investigation that I can't speak too many details about because of that investigation. And the second was a stabbing. That was the one off of 21st Street where a Good Samaritan tried to prevent another man from being stabbed. Unfortunately, in that person getting involved, it cost him his life and he was stabbed to death. The suspect on that one is in custody. I'm prepared to answer any of your questions at this time.
I just want to thank you for having this report to the council and to the public so we understand where we are compared to last year. I understand that there is something that we went out with our control, but do you take any measures to see whether we can do anything to help to reduce the crime, if there's any?
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing, we actually do have some things in the works, and they're dependent on staffing levels for us to implement. There is one other thing we are doing. We are in the final stages of completing an MOU or agreement with the feds on having a retail theft task force housed in our police department. And not only for our city, but throughout Orange County. But a lot of these rings that are doing the retail theft just don't do it in one area. They are opportunists for regions. So we're looking at attacking it that way. A little long-term on that. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but we're hoping it will happen by the end of the year.
I know that you worked diligently on that, so I want to thank, on behalf of the City Council, I want to thank you for your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question?
With that, I motion to approve the item.
Second it.
Motion and second on the floor.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo. This is to receive and file the report. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Next is item 3.9, was pulled by Councilmember Manzo. So
Thank you, Mayor. Staff, I just had a question on the staff report. It mentions the fence along
Yes, sir.
Hoover, underneath the 22 overpass at Hoover. And as I mentioned before, I think that one is just relentlessly, constantly being cut. So I want to know what the plan is going forward, because that's just going to be a constant problem, and what is going to be how we're going to address that.
Thank you, sir. In reference to item 3.9, which is related to the delegated maintenance agreement between the City of Westminster and the State of California, we are partnering closely with Caltrans on this agreement. We're also working collaboratively with City Manager's Office in Garden Grove, because we have a vested interest in making sure that that entire interchange area is effectively cleaned and policed and maintained. And I'm referring to Beach Boulevard and the 22 freeway. The area that we are looking to partner with Caltrans on is the west side of Beach Boulevard. So if you think of the Costco Business Center, that strip of landscape that goes all the way to Hoover. And if you jump over the 22 freeway behind the hotels and some of the other uses on that north side of the 22, that entire area, Caltrans is responsible for it. They're supposed to come through and do it periodically. It's a big county and it takes them a while to circle back. So instead, they're paying us to hire a contractor to maintain that area. And we would put up the money and then receive reimbursement. The dollar amount is based on the budget that Caltrans has to offer. So we're going to work it as much as we can to effectively maintain it on a reimbursement basis. Now, as I mentioned, in Garden Grove's a little bit further ahead than we are on this, and they were great partners, and they added to their contract with Caltrans, which calls for special fencing in some Garden Grove areas. They're actually including the fencing that would prevent pedestrians from walking between the 22 freeway and the Costco Business Center and all the homes that are along there, which is particularly impactful because it slopes up to the 22. So as folks are walking along that green belt, they're essentially looking down into people's backyards. So we're looking at fencing that area on Beach Boulevard to prevent that. And then in addition to that on Hoover, where there's already fencing, like you said, ineffective fencing that is often lifted and people access it, that is going to be replaced with high strength fencing that has certain design features that prevent people from essentially climbing it, sticking their tennis shoes in it and climbing up. So, and it's much more resistant. For many years, it was not a Caltrans standard, so that fencing was not seen in Caltrans right-of-way, but because of some of the issues we've experienced over the years, they've now added that. The flood control channels is where you probably see that type of fencing. So once that's implemented, then we'd be responsible for maintaining, but it is high strength.
And then as far as the maintenance, and right now, currently, you have a plan in place as far as the areas and how we're going to maintain it. What about assessing it after how long? 3 months, 4 months, and then making adjustments accordingly?
Yeah, we tried to get Caltrans to agree on an escalating cost, and they essentially said, let's get started with it, let's monitor it. I would say realistically, between 6 months and a year, we would be in a good position to say, we need additional funds to be able to maintain it to the standards that we feel are appropriate.
And then we're going to be reimbursed the funds.
Absolutely. And it will not take away from our staff that's very busy maintaining our city infrastructure, potholes, parks, all that stuff. That staff is going to continue to work under the direction of Jake to perform all of those duties. Jake and his team, our Director of Public Works and his team will hire a contractor that'll focus on these problem areas and state right-of-way.
Okay, and I just really concerned about this, and I'm really excited to see it. Because it's been a problem that we've been working on for quite a while.
Yes.
And quite a few angry residents along the 22 corridor there. They've been violated, their privacy's been violated. So I'm really hopeful that this is going to be monitored closely going forward, and also keep an eye on the Costco property as well. Correct. To make sure that that fence is being maintained, and if any homeless individuals are going back there, make sure that we patrol. Is there a way that we can keep an eye on that as well, patrolling it?
I mean, that whole area is known as a hotspot. So the chief's right here next to me. I know the HLO team is very active. They know the hotspots in the area, and we do have a good working relationship with the property owners that are impacted by such activities, and we have good relationship with Costco Business Center.
Okay. We're excited to see that fence. I want to see that fence, see what it looks like, the conditions, and how it's going to work better than what's there now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
You want to move the
motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, a second made by Mayor Nguyen. This is to approve the delegated maintenance agreement between the City of Westminster and the State of California, acting by and through the Department of Transportation for litter, debris, and fence maintenance along a portion of Beach Boulevard, and approve an increase to the revenue budget, account number 51500-39069, street maintenance reimbursement other, in the total amount of $25,000. And approve an increase to the expenditure budget, account number 51500-43090, street maintenance contractual, in the amount of $25,000. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West?
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen? Vice Mayor Ho?
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
All right, we're going to jump to 6.1, designation of voting delegate and alternates for 2024 annual League of California City, Cal City Conference, to be held in Sacramento, California. So with this, I want to go ahead and go first on this.
Mayor, if you don't mind, just for the clarification for the public and council, there was a late communications memo in front of you.
Okay.
The location will be held in Long Beach, California.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, to be held in Long Beach, okay. I want to go first on this. I was there every year, and if I don't go, yes, we can. I don't mind to have somebody represent me as delegate, but as a mayor to be at their conference, I think it's my responsibility to be as a delegate. So I hope that the council understand that, and I will be there on that day to represent the city. So I'd like to be a delegate for the event, and so we can move to elect 2 alternates if you decide to do so.
I'm fine with that.
Any question from?
I'm okay with having you be the delegate.
Is there a motion to?
That's my motion. Motions for mayor.
A second.
There's a motion, a second to have.
Wait, don't we want to discuss? Are you approving as is?
Well, right now for the delegate first, and then we'll talk about 2 alternates. Or if you want to talk about 2 alternates right now, then.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
First of all, do you agree with, or do you have any problem with the delegate? If not, then we can move on.
I know every year we go to this. Last year we went to Sacramento, and it was Charlie, mayor, and then Nam Quang, vice mayor at the time, and then myself. And that was fine. I think that's what, whoever can make it, they should make it, because that represents the city of Westminster. So it seems like for this conference that yearly that we go to, it seems like just you and I are able to go, are able to make it. So don't you want representation? Because so far, unless there's other council who's able to go.
Where did you get that
Where did
from?
you get that?
I don't think this is the item that we're talking about. Right now, we have nobody volunteer to go, except we are discussing it right now. And I am volunteering myself to go there as a delegate.
So for the alternate, do you want to talk about it right now as well?
Yes, if you want to.
Okay,
if you don't have any
that'd be
problem with the delegate, then we can talk.
I'm available to be an alternate. I was planning on attending anyways. So.
Okay, so.
I will be available too if you need me.
Okay, so we have two alternate. Is there any others want to be an alternate?
If you want to go, I don't have to go. You're the vice mayor, you should go.
I'm the vice mayor. I should volunteer unless you insist on going.
I'll withdraw my mayor.
You can withdraw, or you can, if you can sit.
No, I'll withdraw.
Okay. So, anyone else want to volunteer to be an alternate? If not, so we do have the mayor as a delegate, and then two alternates, which is Councilmember Manzo and Councilmember West. Am I correct?
Vice Mayor Ho.
Vice Mayor Ho. Sorry about that. So, yes, you withdraw. So, we have a motion and second on the floor for the three of us to attend the conference in Long Beach, California.
Do we need to have a first and a second alternate rather than just both?
So just to kind of clarify on this item, I'm sorry. So the council, this takes place in the state, so there's actually no need for council approval for you to attend. But what we're actually looking for is the voting delegate portion of it. Right. So all 5 of you are welcome to attend the conference, but this is just the voting portion. Okay. So I just wanted to make that clear in the motion that you're designating voting delegate and the alternates for voting, not attendance.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Does it need to be?
Now that the city attorney raised the question that do we have to have the first alternate or second?
Yeah, because if for some reason you're ill that day, who would be the person to step in and vote for you?
Okay, if that's the case, then between the two, who?
Vice Mayor.
Vice Mayor is, next in line will be a Vice Mayor. So Vice Mayor, I would say that Vice Mayor is going to be the first alternate. Is there any objection to that?
No, accept.
Okay. All right, so we have motion and second on the floors.
And then the second alternate would be?
Second alternate would be Councilmember West.
Okay, all right. And the second agrees to that?
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, seconded by Vice Mayor Ho. This is to appoint Mayor Nguyen as the voting delegate and to appoint Vice Mayor Ho as the first alternate and Councilwoman Fan West as the second alternate. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
7.1, appointment of 13 members to the Youth Committee. So this is staff who present this. Otherwise, I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo. This is to select and appoint the members of the Youth Committee for the term expiring June 30th, 2025, as outlined in your staff report. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Next is 7.2, appointment to Planning Commissioner, and I know that this is one member from the Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho appointee, so you recognize.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank my applicants. I do appreciate you. I know we only have one spot, unfortunately, and this is mid-year, and so you will be serving the remainder of the year due to the resignation of Commissioner Jameson Power. From what I understand,
Commissioner Power is moving to Fountain Valley, and so therefore he can't, he really wanted to stay, but unfortunately he will be out of our city. So with that, I'd like to appoint Ms. Laura Rose. Thank you for applying, and I thank you for serving. And I would like to, I wish you luck. It is a very important position. You make final decisions, probably most of the time. So I look forward to your service. Thank you.
All right, is there a motion? Is that a motion? That's a motion from you, Vice Mayor?
Yes, I'd like to
Is
motion.
there a second to that?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Ho, seconded by Mayor Nguyen. This is to appoint Laura Rose to the Planning Commission for a term ending in December 2024, waiving other applicable requirements. I'll go ahead and call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
7.3, request to install parking restriction on Monroe Street at Liberty Park, access driveway, TC 77-123. I'd like to ask for staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. You want to go ahead? Go for it.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. This is a request for the parking restrictions at the driveway that's connecting to this Liberty Park. This driveway been used by city maintenance staff and as well as police department. Our maintenance staff just go into the park every day for pick up the trash, clean up the restroom, and also our police department using this driveway basically to do a safety check of the park. We do have an issue with vehicles that park very close to the driveway, so it's make it very difficult for staff to get in and get out every time we be in there. So this item has been presented to the Traffic Commission on July 27, and at the meeting, there's nobody spoke against this request, and the Traffic Commission end up approving this request to install 5 feet on both sides of the driveway for, better maneuver for city staff.
I will open up for a question, but I will move to approve.
Second it.
Okay, motion and second on the floor.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo. This is to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, providing for no parking or stopping at a certain location on the east side of Monroe Street at 19th Street." I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West. Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
5.9, resolution to censure council.
7.4.
I'm sorry, Mayor, we're still doing 7.4?
7.4.
Did we do 7.4?
No, that was 7.3.
I check mark it, so I thought. All right, 7.4, introduce the first reading and ordinance amending section 10.44.050 and adding section 10.04.245 of the Westminster Municipal Code relating to the permit requirements for the parking of recreation vehicles. So I may ask for a staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor. Sorry.
Council Amy Fan West recused herself already, right?
No, she's just not here. She needs to, but she's not here.
Okay, I want to make sure. City Attorney, I want to ask you for your advice if the City Council Member West need to recuse herself from this item.
Well, recusal is required if you would have a financial interest that conflicts with what's being discussed. In this case, we're talking about an ordinance that would affect RVs. So I think it's been intimated that she may have a business that does business in town related to RVs, in which case the recommendation would be to recuse. But ultimately, the decision to recuse or not is up to the council member themselves, and so I present that for their consideration as to whether or not she has a conflict or not.
I have a question.
Okay.
City Attorney, does that also apply to family members having a financial benefit?
Yeah, under state law, it applies to interest of the public official, their spouse, or any dependents.
Okay. So
Okay.
we want to make sure that there's evidence online that shows that there is financial monetary benefit to a member of Ms. West's family. So I would suggest recuse.
Okay, so Councilmember West, is your decision.
You know, no. Christian sent me today a message regarding the ordinance and asking me if there's conflict of interest, and I text back and say there's no conflict of interest. So, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry, please. It's council decision at this time. So I may ask for the staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. My name is Veronica Johnson, Management Analyst.
Please keep quiet. If you need to discuss something that I suggest we can discuss that outside and then come back when you do that. Thank you.
Again, I'm Veronica Johnson, Management Analyst with the Public...
Hold on for a minute.
Can I just clarify for the audience, because I see they're all shaking their heads. The decision to recuse is incumbent on the public official. They make the decision. You don't force them out. So they look at the facts and they make the decision. So I just want to clarify.
All right, thank you very much. So please, go ahead.
Today, we're here to talk about the proposed ordinance for the recreational vehicles and permit parking. The issues with RVs on our city streets has been ongoing for many years. Many complaints and concerns have come through the traffic engineering and traffic enforcement divisions throughout the years. RV issues in the city were first addressed in 2012 by amending the Westminster Municipal Code for large, oversized vehicles to include RVs and restrict them to a maximum of 24 hours for the purpose of loading and unloading. People were quick to realize that as long as they moved the RV some distance within that 24 hours, they were in compliance with the code. The code was then amended to restrict RVs from returning to within 0.2 of a mile of the previous location for at least 24 hours. The conversation regarding RVs began again in 2020 with it appearing on our traffic committee agenda, but we know what happened in 2020 and it delayed everything. It did come back, but the conversation has never really stopped, so it really did come up in 2020. So Commander Drennan and I presented this item to our Traffic Commission on June 27, 2024. The Traffic Commission is a recommending body, so that's why we bring the Traffic Commission recommendation to the Mayor and City Council today to adopt the proposed ordinance. The proposed ordinance is proposing to amend Section 10.44050 and adding 10.44.245. This would require permits in order to park an RV on a city street, and it also would lay out the permit procedures and regulations for the permits. Many adjacent cities around Westminster have enacted laws restricting recreational vehicles on public streets and requiring permits. As we said, currently the Westminster Municipal Code only limits RV parking to 24 hours, meaning that they can park in one area for 24 hours, move it 0.2 of a mile, park in another area for 24 hours, and continue that throughout the city. Because every city surrounding us requires permits, we have learned that people have been using our city streets, non-residents have been using our city streets in order to store their RVs to avoid storage fees. So these RVs impede visibility for smaller vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists. It deteriorates our roadways and increases blight in neighborhoods. It's also a safety concern for children playing around these vehicles. The proposed ordinance is not intended to punish or make it more difficult for our residents, but rather to protect our residents and our city streets for Westminster residents. The Westminster Police Traffic Bureau, Traffic Engineering Division, and the City Attorney's Office worked closely together to discuss the parameters of a comprehensive RV parking permit. Items discussed include the time limits, the maximum permits allowed per calendar year, application and fees, restricted locations. We had discussions with RV owners. We've had discussions with even staff members who own RVs about what the parameters or what a permit system would look like. I'll turn it over to Commander Drennan to discuss items regarding the municipal code.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I'm Commander Drennan from the Westminster Police Department. As we look currently at what Veronica mentioned, Section 10.44.050, currently, as stated, it states that no recreational vehicle can park on any street or alley for more than 24 consecutive hours. What we're looking to do to add to that, what's being proposed is to enact this section where the residents of Westminster can obtain RV parking permits from the police department, which in the police department from specifically the traffic division, which I manage. And in looking at the new section that we want to add, 10.44.245, one of the things that we're going to highlight in that particular section is clearly defining what a recreational vehicle is per the California Vehicle Code, which states that a recreational vehicle is a motorhome, house car, travel trailer, truck camper, or camp trailer with or without motive power designed for human habitation or other occupancy. So that'll be clearly defined in that particular section that we want to add as well. It will also implement and elaborate on the how the members of the community would go about obtaining the parking permit from the police department, which essentially would consist of an application process, us ensuring that they are in fact residents of the city, and they would have to show proof of all of that as well, and in conjunction with providing some sort of government-issued ID. Another thing that we would add in that would be, as I mentioned, the application and payment process for temporary permits from the police department. As it stands right now, the permits are not going to, there's not going to be any cost for that. That verbiage was left in there in the event that council wants to entertain the idea of charging for those permits in the future. And I covered the application process. Once the application is completed, they would have to show some sort of government-issued ID, proof of residency, such as a utility bill, vehicle registration to show that they are in fact the registered owner of the motorhome, or a rental agreement in the event that they rented the motorhome that they don't own. The next slide that everyone sees up there is a chart. As Veronica mentioned, we've done our homework on all of this, and we reached out to our neighboring cities and looked at what their permit time limits and the number of permits that some cities have in the surrounding area, and you can see those numbers there, and then the proposed restrictions for the city of Westminster as well.
To add to this, you can see that the proposed restrictions that we're bringing before you today from the Traffic Commission are 36 recommended permits. Staff did recommend 12 permits, but as the commission is a public hearing body, we do encourage them, when they do receive their packets, to go out into the neighborhoods to discuss the items with their neighbors, to get feedback from their neighbors, to look at the items that are being proposed. And it was brought back, there was a concern that 12 was not going to be enough. So it was recommended that we do increase the amount of permits to 36. But of course, this again is the recommendation, and it's up to the mayor and city council to make the final decision on that. As you can see this on this page, we did survey the surrounding cities. As you can see, the first column you will see, other than the city, is the permit duration, which is the maximum duration of 48 hours and 72 further down. The third column in is the number of permits allowed for a 12-month period. So as you can see, Buena Park allows 6 permits per month at a maximum of 48 hours. So we're looking at 12 days per 12 permits a year. So based on that, our recommendation, and Traffic Commission's recommendation, our permit duration is only for 1 day with a non-consecutive day in between. How does that work? We don't expect people to call us on their vacation and let us know when they're returning. We are proposing that only 1 permit be issued at a time per address, but that's only per calendar day. We're not expecting them to foresee into the future. When they request their permit, it's going to be, I'm requesting my permit for Friday. We do ask for a time because the 24-hour period is going to be contingent on that time. So if they're going to say we need a permit for Friday at 12, that's when I'm going to pick up my RV and leave it on the street, it's going to be good for the following 12 noon, and that's the 24-hour period. At that time, they can also request their return trip. If they say, I'm going to come back a week from now, we will issue that permit. So the 1 permit per address at a time is contingent on 1 day at a time. So what we didn't want is that one resident asks for various permits for various RVs on 1 day. That's what we're trying to stay away from. Currently, as Commander Drennan said, no fee is being proposed. That's also in line with our surrounding cities. No one charges for a permit at this time. We did leave it as part of the ordinance, as we left it as part of our permit parking districts. Should the council ever decide to charge for these permits, the ordinance does not need to be revised. It just needs to be adopted by resolution. Should this be adopted, we will be erecting signs within the city. These are some samples of some signs within our neighboring cities. We are proposing that this signage be at every entrance to the city. This is also contingent on what other cities do. It's also contingent. It's also consistent with our street sweeping signage that we do. We do entrances to every neighborhood. So we're not going to have signs on every single city street. We are going to have it at every entrance to the city.
And basically what this is going to look like, if this is approved by the mayor and city council members, is after the second reading in August, we would immediately begin outreach from now until as early as January, which is when we feel comfortable kind of unpacking this thing between now and then for the community. And that would be, in terms of outreach, that would be the calls for service that we get related to RVs or motorhomes is public education. Hey, this is what's coming as early as January, or once we figure out what that date's going to be, and this is what you guys, everyone can expect in regards to how to get the permits and what's not going to be allowed. Just reiterating the installation of the new signs at all the city entrances, and an update on the citation amount, which would be brought to council at a later date in regards to the citation amount. From now on, or until that outreach begins, until the end of the year, as early as January 1st, that would kind of be the grace period, which we feel if this was to go or be approved and after the second reading in August, they would have a couple of months to kind of wrap their head around and give us plenty of time to finish the outreach and then start enforcement as early as January.
So the final recommended action is that the Traffic Commission recommends that the mayor and city council members adopt the proposed ordinance for RV permit parking in the city.
Before I open up for questions from the council, I'd like to ask, there's one, can you come back to the proposed from staff for how many, that slide, I don't know which slide, I forgot to, what slide number is that?
This one?
The one with...
The proposed permits?
Yeah, the proposed limit.
Can we get the screen back on?
What slide number is that? Sorry, I should discard it.
That's okay.
Okay, this one?
This one?
Yes. I know the traffic commissioner recommended 36, but staff recommended a maximum of 12 permit per 12 months period. I understand from your staff report, I am concerned that there were a number of, I'm concerned about safety, as well as the number of people, from other city that came over in the camp at our city. I understand that, and can you explain why staff recommended a maximum of 12 permit per calendar year?
Sure. Well, in speaking with the police department and along with the traffic engineering division and speaking with RV owners and users, it was discussed that the maximum number, that the average number that an RV user is taking on a trip is about 6 per year. So that's 6 trips to get your RV here, 6 trips to unload it. We want to keep in mind that this is only supposed to be for loading and unloading only. You're not supposed to be vacationing here on the streets. And that was the consensus of a good starting number was 12. And when we looked at our neighboring cities, it was pretty in line with what they're offering also. But with the traffic commissioners, when they were speaking to their residents and their neighbors, there was a concern that what happens if I need more? What happens, there was talk about what happens if there's more needed. So 36 was just something that they threw out. And because it's not something that's based on law, every city is different. We do entertain the option of bringing back a recommendation that doesn't quite fall into line with what staff recommends because it's not a legal matter. Should it have been something where it's something on policy and it's really black and white, say a speed limit, where our hands are really tied, we would have let them know that it's not something that we would recommend at that point.
All right, thank you. At this time, I would like to open up for council discussion. So,
Mayor, can I go first?
Yes, Councilmember Menzo.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I mean, with this particular item, I mean, I think is a really sensitive item. I'm sure staff is aware of issues in other cities regarding RVs and the negative impacts that they pose to those particular cities. One city that I can think of is I visited this city when my daughter was going to college there, was San Francisco. And there they had a major, major problem with RVs and completely blighted that whole, multiple streets where not only residents, but college kids were in fear of walking those streets, especially after dark. So, and then also recently in the news, there have been some more nearby cities who are being affected by this, and they just started now recently enforcing and ticketing and towing RVs in those particular cities. Mm-hmm. So, and I know, as you mentioned, that you really started working on this issue. I thought you said 2012, I want to say, then you restarted it again in 20. So you've been doing a lot of homework, I'm assuming, right? And one of the questions I have is, from what I understand in reading and seeing what I heard about the Traffic Commission, only one particular commissioner really had input and the others did not. Is that the case?
We only had 3 commissioners at our commission meeting. Our regular commission meeting was canceled due to a special council meeting. So we did switch it over to a Thursday. We only got 3 commissioners to show up, which was a quorum. One was more vocal than the others, but the chair was the one that actually proposed the 36 permits. And the other commissioner also supported the item.
Okay. And one of the things we're trying to avoid also is that you mentioned you're not supposed to vacation on the public streets. And then the other one is storing RVs on public streets. And one of the things, to me, it's a major thing, is life and safety issue with visibility. Vehicles exiting streets and creating these vehicles creating blind sides. So that's a major issue. As far as it's also the blight issue. I got a question. I was looking at I was going through your numbers here as far as item 1 through 17, as far as the conditions and what it would look like. And I agree with most of them, except I just have a really issue with the Traffic Commission going against the recommendation of staff that's been studying this issue for many years, and the Traffic Commissioner just a day or so, or whenever they got their staff report, to do that. So I have an issue with the 36 consecutive days because that really goes against what we're trying to avoid as a city, to creating these negative impacts to our community.
They would be non-consecutive days.
Yeah, but the
But
negative
36
impacts that having vehicles stored or multiple days at a time. And then the other issue I saw that I don't agree with is the distance, the 0.2 of a mile. Common sense dictates that you're not going to park your RV 0.2 of a mile away and load and unload from that far away from your home, where I'm assuming you're going to be, if you're going to go on a camping trip, you're going to be putting groceries and whatnot in there, and that's a long distance to walk back and forth, loading and unloading of your RV. You're going to want it as close as possible to where you're going to be loading it and unloading it. So my recommendation with that, and I was just looking at just some common sense, looking at what 1,000 feet looks like and what 500 feet looks like. And I think it needs to, that's another point, there needs to be an actual number that's easy to understand, like feet-wise. So I put that on the text, instead of being 0.2 of a mile, I want it to be, and my recommendation is 500 feet, to state 500 feet.
There will be, if I can add, there will be a information page, landing page on our website that's going to break it down to a much more digestible, simple process, different than the ordinance. But we hear you loud and clear. People reference feet, not miles, especially fractions of miles.
Yeah. Display of a false RV parking permit constitutes grounds for disqualification from obtaining another permit for 1 year. So is that something you feel comfortable with, and how will we police that part of it?
Without getting into too much of the details, we have operated 2 successful permit parking districts in the city for, is it 10 years about a decade now. And we have it down to pretty much an exact science, where we get a phone call or an email, and then we issue a permit that has a randomly generated code, and then that is shown on the permit that the resident displays on their dash. Our parking enforcement have the address, information, and that secret code, and each time it's randomly generated by a computer. So if those codes don't match up, then we have a forfeit, or we have a counterfeit permit, and we'll act upon it accordingly.
And our staff would have that info, they will scan it, check it, and
They will-
enter it.
They will verify the number they see versus the number that's sent to the parking enforcement officers. I would say that in the decade we've had the system in place, we've had to knock on some doors and let them know that we're on to them. But quickly the word gets out there, and we rarely have issues with counterfeits.
And then reading items 1 through 17, one thing that came to mind, and I don't know if this is something that's already staff and took this into account, is if when that particular, if an applicant came to apply for this permit, if they have an outstanding parking ticket that hasn't been paid, then I think that would constitute and not being able to qualify for a permit. can we talk about that?
Do you have an opinion on that?
I think the biggest issue that we're going to see with that is if, what happens with the DMV is if they have that many parking citations on file that they haven't paid, they're not going to be allowed to they're not going to be able to renew the registration on their vehicles. So if it does end up, if DMV ends up missing it, we do have the capabilities of, when we run the license plate on the vehicle, of figuring that out as well, sir.
But my question is when they come to the traffic, wherever they come to apply for this permit, when they whatever information they give, address, name, ID, it doesn't come, at that point, it doesn't come up that there's an outstanding parking ticket unpaid?
So in the application process, when they bring in their government ID, it's going to have their photo on it. They'll also bring in proof of residency, a registration of the vehicle. Before we issue the permit to that resident, we will, of course, run the vehicle that they're trying to get the permit for to confirm that it is, in fact, that everything's lining up. And it's at that point that we'll be able to determine how many parking citations they have on file.
Okay, but my question is, should we not add, is it not a good idea to, because I think if they have outstanding parking, unpaid parking, and specifically for RVs, unpaid parking citations, that they would not be issued a parking permit for RV.
I think we'd feel more comfortable if our city attorney weighed in on that question.
Yes.
Well, arguably, if you have citations on the RV, that would be grounds for refusing this permit.
That's what I'm getting at.
It's discretionary in the sense that this program.
So can we, doesn't it not make sense to add that on here?
We can add that on that
yes.
landing page that
Correct.
the assistant city manager was talking about, so that'll be clear before they even come in.
Correct. Good. So I would like to make sure that we add that on there.
Yeah, I think that it would tie it to the RV at issue.
Yes,
but
the
not
RV.
to, because your child might have tickets.
Yes, no,
things
just
like,
is the RV for what's being applied for.
In the ordinance or not?
The RV at issue. So those are my.
So is there any other
Yes,
from the council?
so I just want to make sure that we have, I get my point across, that my motion is going to be to include the items, but the maximum would be for 12, as recommended by staff through their thorough research, and to maintain it at the 24-hour, and to add that outstanding parking citation to make that item number 18 on there. So that is going to be my motion, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. But I want to hear from other council before we can take action on that.
Thank you.
Any question from the council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I have a question for Darren, Commander Darren, right? So when you mentioned on the slide, let me see, municipal code under that, and I think you mentioned they have to get a permit for RVs, big trucks, cars, vehicle as well, or just RVs only?
What I was referencing, ma'am, was strictly from the California Vehicle Code and what that definition of a recreational vehicle is, which was a motorhome, house car, travel trailer, truck camper, or camp trailer with or without motive powered, designed for human habitation or other occupancy.
So when you say house vehicle, house car,
Something
are you
that's-
talking about like, what, like a Jeep?
Something that's able to
Or
be
like
lived
a
in.
porch? Or,
Something that's able to be where they can live in.
okay, so any car that people can live in, I mean, people can live in any kind of car, if you think about it, 2 doors. So that's kind of like restriction to other resident who are in the district, that they have to get a permit for their own car. But then, of course, they're not going to live in it. So how do you determine which car they're living in, which car they're just parking outside like normal parking?
So I think the definition of, to elaborate on the definition, it's a motor vehicle with living quarters, right? So like a bed. Most cars don't have beds. So this,
Right. You know how we do see people who sometimes stay in their car for the night or whatever reason. We have seen and heard that they became homeless or something and they're just sleeping in their car for the night or whatever it is, right? So does that mean that you're going to kick those homeless people for the day out? I mean, I feel like there's going to be a lawsuit from the ACLU on this.
So
So what do you mean? Because that seems...
So just kind of elaborating on the definition of a recreational vehicle and what the definition of a motor vehicle is in the California Vehicle Code. A recreational vehicle, like Adolfo just mentioned, has some sort of established living quarters in it. If we encounter someone who's sleeping in their car, they're not going to be required to get a permit if they're homeless and they're living in their car. There's no living quarters in there. They may be sleeping in the vehicle. They may have their belongings in there. There's no human habitation or there's no living quarters inside that vehicle like there is that's clearly defined in the definition in the vehicle code for a recreational vehicle.
When you say living quarters, meaning their belongings, they're sectioned out of like, you know, there's many things that they can buy on Amazon for a little bed or whatever, you know, cushion or whatever. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm talking specifically like a recreational vehicle that has an established bed in it. There's a kitchen. There's the things that recreational vehicles that campers have that clearly defined motor vehicles defined by the California Vehicle Code don't have.
So basically, what I'm seeing is that in the even neighboring city, in the city of Huntington Beach, we have a lot of, are you talking about the stealth camper van, that big one that they have, like sometime there's no toilet, but maybe just a sink, and so they can go, you know, down to the beach to watch the air show, and they have their van there. Are you talking about something like that, that will be ticketed in our city?
If the vehicle in question has established living quarters in it, then they're going to be required to apply for a permit, and they have to live in the city of Westminster in order to get it.
Okay.
That's what we're proposing.
So that's good. Thanks for verifying that. Now, when you're talking about getting the permit, so everyone has to go to the Westminster PD to obtain the permit for 24 hours. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm looking at your chart, and I noticed that our neighboring cities, which is very close to us, Garden Grove and Huntington Beach have a very huge population than us, as well as Garden Grove. They have a permit duration of 72 hours maximum. And then, of course, Huntington Beach has 144 days, more than what the commissioner suggests of 36. Now, I know that they don't really have that problem because they have that permit of 72 is reasonable for the people who live in the city of Huntington Beach and Garden Grove. I've talked to the council member in both this city, and they don't have those issues within 72 because they're not only addressing.
Each city have a different rules and regulations, so we are trying to address here.
Yeah.
So
I understand, Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
and I'm
please.
just addressing the inconvenience of going to Westminster PD, resident of Westminster, getting their RV out of the, you know, their facility, parking facility, and go to the city of Westminster, get the permit in 24 hours. I feel like it's just a hassle and a rush. And then each time they do go, I mean, it seems like such a hassle. When it's 72, it makes sense. And of course, I don't see Huntington Beach or Garden Grove or Stanton ever have those problems. They get the permit and it's noted. You know what I mean? So I feel like what we're trying to do is make it very difficult. And trust me, I know that the resident of Westminster will rise up on this issue and say, why are you guys becoming a dictator, a socialist, kind of like controlling where they, I mean, reasonable is 72, right? And then the other thing too, with parking in the city of Westminster, we all know in Orange County, sometime with the high density that the state of California requiring us to build housing with no parking, it's getting to be where an area where we can't just park right in front of our home. Like in District 1, we have other area, Moran Street, right? And if they bring the RV, they have to park a little farther because they're fighting for space. So I feel like what Mr. Menzer was talking about, what you guys put in there is reasonable because we have to factor in that sometimes the resident cannot park right in front of their home. They have to park 3-4 cars away just because they're fighting over parking, right, in certain areas. So I think we have to be reasonable in our, parking an ordinance, because the people are going to be very upset, and especially in those areas like Moran, Street, and we know other area in Locust Street and whatnot. I just feel like if we're going to do this, we have to factor that into our city.
If I can clarify a few of the things, keeping track of some of the topics you brought up. I've been doing this, dealing with traffic matters for the better part of 20 years now. So when we do propose some of these solutions, we're really looking back at the specific needs of our community. Referencing adjacent communities is important, just as a reference, but really we feel that our historical knowledge of the issues in the city that go back to 2000, 2005, when I first started here, folks were very concerned about RVs being on the street for more than 24 hours. And that's one of the reasons that the previous council in 2012 went ahead and said, you know what, we feel the RVs should only be on the street for 24 hours. So based on all of that input that was gathered by the community back in 2012, we feel that needs to be presented to you. And that's the reason we landed on the 24 hours. I do agree with you about having to come to PD each time. That's not the intent of the program. The other permit districts that we operate, you only had to do that the first time. Come to PD the first time, get all your information, put you in our system. And then once you're in our system, folks said, can we do this over email? We said yes, and it's been working over email the entire time. So they would be able to email it, we email them back.
Is this your experience in the past in the city of Westminster?
That's what we currently do in the parking district. They only had to come into City Hall one time to register their, get the information, show them the documentation, and then after that, they're in the system. They can do this over email. So just to clarify that.
So maybe if we can put clarification on that, the first time initial to the Westminster PD to register your RV.
We can definitely add that to the application process.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then also the other thing too, I'm concerned is that Garden Grove, Huntington Beach, Stanton, Seal Beach, even other area where they say, the option permit duration, say for example, Seal Beach, which is up a couple, 2 cities from us here, 24 hours, and the max is 72. But it seems like all of this is 72 hours is very reason up to 72, right? It's very reasonable. Why are we more stricter or more? I thought usually we kind of work with our neighboring city where it's kind of similar, whatever agenda or ordinance we have, the bicycle or whatever it is still the same, similar to Huntington Beach, similar to Garden Grove, Stanton, whatnot. But I feel like if we are being draconian and strict like this, it's going to be there's no room for the resident. So I think it's reasonable to say up to 72 hours. Maybe we can put first 24 hours, but up to 72 hours if need be, like Huntington Beach. They go, okay, you have an option of 24-hour permit if you need that. If you need 72, yes, up to max 72, and that's it. Get that permit, and that's it. So I think that's very reasonable. I'm suggesting that if we can do something like that, like Huntington Beach, I think it's very reasonable.
Yes, it's up to council decision, to be honest with you.
That's fine, yeah.
I understand, I appreciate for all the questions that you have, but I would like to hear it from, I don't have anything, but I want to hear it from the other council before we can, it takes enough time for you to ask a question. So anything else from any council member here? I think you already spoke.
I'm good. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you, staff. It's very clear. And I thank you for the other studies and also Ms. Veronica Johnson there. Thank you.
Okay, what about council member?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know what, upon hearing Council Member Menzo and Councilwoman from West talking about this item, I have my own question and suggestion. You know what, we are here to serve the community. We make it more easier for our residents to enjoy their life. And everything I see here is, we create more trouble for the residents, not to make, their life more easier. So I don't want to, sacrifice something for another. Just take a look at the table right here. All the cities around us, they have, I think, reasonable number. Why we make it more difficult for the resident? 24 and 12. Let me make it clear. Why don't we compromise here? I suggest like a 48 hours duration and 24 for the number of permits per 12 months, period. So that's my suggestion. Moreover, let me ask you this question. So if my friend came over from somewhere else and, my friend driving an RV, how can he stay at my house and park in front of my house? Do you ever encounter that situation?
I think by allowing that to happen, I think we're going to start gravitating back to a little bit of the problem that we're having right now with all of these motorhomes that are not residents of the city. When we did the research on this, and what we ended up coming up with is that the permits are going to be strictly for the residents in the city, as they're the ones, like was mentioned several times before, if they want to utilize their motorhome, if we allow this to happen, we feel it's just going to take up additional parking, and it's going to be more of an inconvenience for the residents. So we did agree upon just making the permits for the residents of the city of Westminster only.
All right, okay. But I know that just make it more easier for us to govern the city, make it safer, but why don't we create some exceptional for just a case that I just mentioned? Okay, so if my friend came over and then I want to register for him to park in front of my house, can I do that? Because right now, my name is not in the registration, right? So there's no way for my friend to visit me and park in front of my house. Is that reasonable to you?
No, sir. As indicated, we wanted to keep the permits strictly for the residents because we just feel that if we allow everyone to do that, then we're going to start moving back to the problem that we're having now. I've specifically seen incidents and talked to people from other cities who, because our city is one of the only ones around, especially the ones that when we were doing our research, that did not have a permit system. And what ends up happening is, in a situation like that, is a friend of a friend will get a permit for someone to come park their RV in our city. People are already parking their RVs in our community right now in various locations that I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen, and it's really problematic for us. It calls for an extreme amount of calls for service when our police officers can be handling priority 1 calls and doing something better to serve the community than trying to track down the owners of the RVs and whatnot. So that's where we landed, and unfortunately, that was our recommendation.
All right, thank you, Commander Trennan.
May I add something?
I haven't got a
Okay,
chance
so-
myself. Please, go ahead.
Okay, so do we have a motion on the floor?
Not yet, it's my turn.
But I thought that Manzo...
I wasn't planning to talk
all right,
on this,
all right.
but after you, then I like to make my comments. Number one, Councilmember Nguyen, I don't think it's stop trying to make it difficulties for the citizen or for the resident, Westminster residents. I think they're trying to find a better way to manage the city in terms of other vehicles parking, other recreation vehicles parking in our city. That's one thing. The second thing is I want to make sure that you mentioned that it make it difficult for the residents, and you're concerned for the resident. I don't think that is concerned. If there is a concern from the resident, they are out here today talking about it already. I haven't seen none of them talking about this item, worry about having limited the number of hours or limited number of times to park their vehicles in our city. So I know that, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the safety of our children. And if they park there, they may block the car coming forth. So those are the things that I'm worried about. So at this time, I know that we have the motion on the floor. Is there a
Mr.
second
Mayor,
to it?
I have one last question, verification.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Let her have a last question then.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So on the note of Nam Quang, Councilman, regarding his friend come to visit, since you did a lot of study, what is Huntington Beach implementing for if a friend come with his stow-and-go van, for visiting? Do they have a permit right now for a friend, or how does that work? Do you know? I can text the council if you need to.
We did not learn every aspect of every city's way of doing business. We just know that based on the problem
Please try again.
based on the problem that we're trying to mitigate, that would create a problem for us. So we're not the only city that would not allow visitors to obtain a permit. Other cities are more restrictive than us. Other cities don't have permits, don't allow RVs, period, on the street. So
All right.
we didn't really talk about those other extremes. We're kind of still in the middle.
So we have the motion on the
Huntington
floor.
Beach,
Is there a second to
you
it?
cannot, Huntington Beach, you don't know, right now, Huntington Beach, you don't know what they're doing with guest permit?
We know that visitors and outside folks parking in our city creates a problem, and that's why our code, our recommendation discourages that or does not include that. We're mitigating that.
Okay, so you don't know what Huntington Beach is doing with their guest permit?
We do
Okay,
not know.
thank you.
You're correct.
So my substitute motion,
We
since
don't-
you have a motion.
I don't think we have a motion.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. I made a motion.
I don't have a
Go
second.
ahead and repeat your motion, please.
Okay, before I make my motion again, I have a follow-up question that I jotted it down and forgot to ask. So the permit's you mentioned the permit's gonna be per address, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what happens when there's if there's multiple RVs per one address?
Veronica.
So it was discussed, and say there happens to be roommates and both of you own an RV, you would have to share the number of permits allowed per that address. So, and it cannot be on the same day. So if one was coming on Friday, only one can come on Friday. The next one has to come at least 2 days later. And that was decided that they were going to have to share the permit. So when we have a multiple, which we don't see very often, when we discuss the owners and the operators of RVs within our city, most RV owners have parking on site. Most of them are storing them at an RV park. We don't see a lot of RVs being parked on the street. The only ones, the majority of the ones that we've encountered have been from other cities. When we've talked to them, when PD has gone out to run their plates, they've been from Seal Beach. They've been from Los Alamitos. We've had admitted people come in and say, I can't get a permit in my city. I know you don't require a permit. That's why I'm here on Garden Grove Boulevard or on Melanie or on anywhere on our street. So it was discussed, and it was decided that multiple RVs at one address would have to share the number of
Okay,
permits.
thank you. And on the point of my colleagues here, for an example, as you just mentioned, if you're most RV owners usually have somewhere to park their RV on their property, not on the street. For example, my neighbors, they have RVs. They park them on the side of their house. They have an RV parking or on the driveway. My family has one of my sister-in-laws has an RV. When she comes to visit us, she stays in her RVs. But you know where she stays? At an RV park, like 3-4 miles down the street, where you got to pay there, and she has full hookups where she's living in her RV while she's visiting us, and they have a vehicle they tow. So that's people following the rules, people being considerate of others to park their RV at an RV park when they're visiting. And if you own one, or my neighbor, his brother visits him from out of state, when he comes in, he parks his RV on his brother's driveway, not on the public street. And that's typically the way it's done. Not trying to take advantage of the neighbors, because now we have this new thing called ADUs, and there's no parking on the streets. And sometimes, especially on my street, the people who are living in the ADU, not only are they fighting the neighbors for parking, but they're also fighting their own people in the front unit for parking. So having an RV is a detriment to the neighbors as well. So again, I'm going to repeat my motion. My motion was to go with the recommended staff of 12 days and the 24 hours that's recommended by staff, and to go with the 500-foot max distance, and to add, if there's outstanding unpaid RV parking citations, that would negate the issuance of a RV parking permit.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second that motion.
Okay, is there any substitute motion to that?
I substitute motion to, since we have two neighboring city, Stanton, Huntington Beach, Garden Grove, they're pretty much doing the same thing of 72 hours. So I substitute motion for 72 hours permit, and then keep the 36 permit calendar year versus Huntington Beach, 144 days. We can do 36, so that's my substitute motion.
Is there any second to the substitute motion?
I second. Can I speak something?
Yes, please.
This is like to answer my colleagues, Carlos Manso. Not a lot of people fortunate to own a house like you. Okay, so I think you should think for the people, not yourself.
All right, I think we each have a second round already, and we have the substitute. We have the substitute motion and
since
the
you're
motion
well
on the
off,
floor.
you know.
You're the one that's running a business and
Since
parking
you're
on the
well
street.
off,
so-
I don't know what you're
If you
talking
guys
about.
continue to talk about this, then I will move to call for questions. Okay, so we are not, so go ahead and go ahead and call for substitute motion first.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a substitute motion made by Councilwoman Fan West, seconded by Councilmember Nguyen. This is to make a 72-hour permit and keep the 36 permit calendar year. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
No.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
No.
Mayor Nguyen.
No.
Motion failed, 2-3.
Go back to original motion, please.
Yes. So the original motion on the floor is made by Councilmember Monzo, seconded by Vice Mayor Ho. This is to go with staff's recommendation of 12 days and 24 hours, have a 500-foot max distance, and add if there's any outstanding unpaid RV parking citations that they're not eligible for a parking permit. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
No.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
No.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried, 3-2.
Next item is 5.9, resolution to censure Councilwoman Amy Fan West, District 1.
Mayor.
I thought it was
Mayor, I'm sorry.
5.10. Mayor.
For 7.4, may I please read the ordinance title into the record? We're introducing an ordinance for the first reading.
Did we do the 7.4? I thought we did.
We did. I just need to read the ordinance title into the record before we move on.
Okay.
So this is for an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Westminster, California, amending section 10.44.050, use of streets for storage of vehicles prohibited, of chapter 10.44, stopping, standing, and parking, to title 10, vehicles and traffic, and adding section 10.44.245, recreational vehicle parking permit required, of chapter 10.44, stopping, standing, and parking, to title 10, vehicles and traffic, of the Westminster Municipal Code related to the permit requirement for the parking of recreational vehicles, and finding the ordinance not subject to the California Environmental Quality Act, read by title only and waive further reading. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next item is 5.9, resolution to censure Councilwoman Amy Fan West, District 1.
I thought it's 5.10 first and 5.9 next.
5.9
That's what I
and then
asked.
5.10. What is the difference between 5.9 and 5.10?
I asked for 5.10 first, and the 5.9 you agree.
Mayor,
That's
motion
what's
to
mentioned.
approve 5.9.
Right now, we are 5.9, then where can we go ahead and go with that?
But that's what we have earlier that
Okay,
you approved.
Okay, I don't
Thank you.
remember that. I actually have it here, 5.9, 5.10, but if that's the case,
Is that what the case is?
Yes, that's
City
what we
clerk?
said. That's why I asked.
What do you
Mayor,
have?
the motion that was approved was to take 5.9 and then 5.10.
Okay, then that's it. Okay, let's do 5.9. Resolution to censure Councilwoman Amy Fan West, District 1. So I know that this is the fourth times that we go through this. I don't think that I need anything from staff or anything, so I will open up for council to discuss on this item.
I think we discussed enough on this item.
Well, it's regarding me, so I should be able to.
It doesn't matter. At this point here.
Because there's new
If you want to
things you
speak,
added to it.
then go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
No, there is.
Mayor, this is my item, if I may go first. This is a continuation of my item.
Oh, yes, this
Yes.
is her item, so she can speak first.
Yes, Mayor, I plead with you that we have spent so much time on this already. We have heard our constituents over and over again, I think out of respect for everyone, and I just want to move along. And today, we're not talking about, we're not asking yes or no. We already know that the censure is, we already voted, and we have the majority. And I think today we are just voting on the resolution that we asked staff to prepare, and that is it. And we already, I approved the resolution, and so I would like to move to approve 5.9.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a statement right here, because I noticed it's different on the resolution than what you guys proposed last time.
What is the difference?
The proposal to have staff to craft up a resolution, number one, censure Councilwoman Amy Fan West, two, remove me from all committees.
That's why we were
And
going
three,
to talk about it. Okay, go ahead.
three is to remove me from all city attorney privileges. But I don't see it here.
Right.
All I see is just censuring me. And so I see right here, it says section 3, the council find that the above statement of Councilwoman Fan West was true and that her conduct in this matter was inappropriate, unprofessional, and unacceptable, and constitute the violation of city ethics policy. And I'm thinking, you know, if you're making a statement of me violating the city ethic policy, all of you guys have violated this city ethical policy, and from day one, we all seen it. So if you're gonna censure me like one of the member have made a statement, is that then you all should be censured as well. So the thing is that I just feel like I know before you put this agenda on the item on the agenda here, you guys have in your mind to censure me already, and I understand that because you have 3 votes.
Please,
May I finish?
Let me address your
May I
concern.
finish
No,
my
no.
thought? Because
let me address your
I'm
concern.
speaking.
We've been talking
Miss
about
City
this a lot
Attorney,
already.
may I finish?
should let her speak.
No, she is repeating of what we already done. She
No,
have a
not
valid
repeating.
question, and I'm trying to respond to her.
But usually you let the
You
person
have-
finish.
You have a valid
She
question.
has the right to speak.
I have the right to speak.
Yes, but then she is repeating what we already have gone through.
What I'm saying is you try to silence her.
No, Councilmember Nguyen, please.
Yes, you are. You're trying
You
to.
are
You're
silencing
pointing
her.
finger at me now. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so
Let her
that we can
speak.
Go ahead and finish yours, okay?
thank you for letting me finish my thoughts. Thank you. Okay, so with that, section 3. So I guess you say the council. So I cannot say this is false statement because the council doesn't mean Nam Quang and myself. We don't approve of this because we don't think this is true. So maybe you should say the Chinese communist dictator find the above statement of the council member West as true.
Last time I checked,
And then
I was born in
section
Mexico.
4, the Chinese communist dictator, the 3 of you guys, the new gang of 3, hereby censure Councilwoman Amy Fan West, conduct described above. And section 5, going forward, the 3 Chinese communist dictator, the gang of 3, have expressed Councilwoman Amy Fan West cease and desist for any further inappropriate and unprofessional
would you please
conduct
keep
toward the
quiet?
other 3 council communist Chinese dictators. And I understand you have the majority, and the thing is that with your majority, why are you monitoring me going to the bathroom often, text message, not looking in
that's
the eyes?
appreciation.
May
I'm
I
not gonna
finish?
take
I'm
that.
not finished.
Yes, but
Instead of wasting your time on monitoring how often I go to the bathroom, why don't you fix the homeless problem where they're peeing in the park, peeing in people's yard? You know what I mean? So when you have that power, you should do something good like that to take care of the homeless population instead of monitoring, what I speak, or what I say, or when I go to pee to the bathroom. I mean, come
Are
on,
we
guys.
repeating this again?
And so the thing is that
Mayor, call for question.
I
We do
just
have
feel
a
like
first and a second.
Hold on. I want to address your.
You know what? When
Wait
you
a
put
minute,
her on the
it's my time.
spotlight,
I'm talking,
you
sir.
should let her speak. You should
She's
let her
finished.
defend herself.
She finished, and it's my turn.
She's not.
Please, it's my turn.
She's not
You're
finished.
putting on me on
responding to her concern.
you're
Okay?
judging
Are you
me,
finished?
and I have every
Is that
right
a
to
problem?
defend myself in the court of law.
Ma'am.
And you guys are pretending to be judges.
Responding to your concern.
You guys are pretending to be judges. You guys even
No,
not
no.
legal judges, and you not allow me to defend myself.
I told
What kind
you-
of court is this?
I
It's like a
told
you-
banana republic court.
I told you that you have a valid.
I can't even defend
It
myself.
looks like the
I am
majority is
responding
trying
to
to
your-
Yeah,
silence you.
the majority always just trying to silence me
Okay.
and silence
Is
the
there a
voice.
motion to
And
this?
you guys promised
Is there a second?
to uphold the Constitution.
Okay, we have a motion
and
and
you guys
second. We've been
are
talking
not
about this
upholding the
since the
Constitution. You guys should
You
resign.
guys have a majority. You
call
just,
for questions.
just go
You
ahead.
guys should
do it.
resign.
A second.
And it's really sad that you guys aren't letting me defend
Mr. Mayor,
myself.
you should
That's
keep
okay.
order in
We
the
called for
crowd.
question already, so there's
You
a
are the
second.
mayor.
order in the
Why are you
crowd.
letting the activists running your city?
Crowd,
When
please,
Mr. Mayor,
please let
you are
us
the
do
mayor
our
elected. Why are you
business.
letting the activists run our
Oh,
city?
please.
Mr. Mayor, this is not an
Please be
activist
quiet,
city.
please.
The
I
resident
asked
of
you to be
almost
quiet,
100
okay?
people do not want activists to
That's
run our
okay.
city.
We have a
Mr.
motion
Mayor, your
on the floor,
legacy is
and we
important
call
to
for
the city.
question. I call for
Mr.
question. Is
Mayor,
there a
your
second to the
legacy is
question?
important.
second
Please
that.
don't listen to the
Second call for question.
We call for question.
activists who are
Let's go.
running our city
I
down
have a
to the pit.
motion. I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo for call for question. I'll go to
Mr.
call
Mayor,
roll.
you should allow
I'm
us
calling
to
roll for call for
discuss.
question.
Okay, it's
All
not
right.
just because
Go
you
ahead
have
and
the
call for
majority and then you don't
Call for
you don't want
question,
to
roll
discuss
call.
this.
This is democracy,
Yeah,
right,
this is
Mr.
democracy.
Mayor?
Democracy.
Why are you
should
not,
call
why are
for
you silencing
question,
my
Councilwoman Van
voice?
West.
Discuss the item, the
When I'm on the
problem.
juror, in a way.
Have discussed
A fake
4
juror.
times already, okay?
City
Okay.
attorney. City attorney.
It
This is a
doesn't,
question
it
for
doesn't
city
mean that
attorney.
when you have the majority that you want, you
Okay,
can
let's
do
be-
whatever
walk
you want.
all
Let's be
over
professional and be
people.
quiet.
Okay?
Only
You
one
can't
person
do
speak
that.
at
You
a
guys
time.
voted for you guys.
City attorney.
Okay. City attorney.
City attorney.
City attorney.
You
It's-
still have silencing
City
our
attorney,
voice.
have a question for city attorney.
No. Hold on.
But before we call for the question, we should.
It's time. It's time for me to address. It's time for me to address. Okay? It's time for me to address. First of all,
We should discuss the.
we discussed already.
No,
And she have the concern. I am going to address the concern.
she still want to speak.
No, but she repeat what is already discussed before.
Van West defend herself.
No.
You
Because
guys accusing her. Let her defend herself.
she has a valid reason to ask a question, and I am trying to address that question. And see,
We just begin
no.
the discussion and then
I am sorry.
question. What
City attorney.
hell is that?
Hold on. City attorney, let me ask you, if there is a call for question and there was a second to it, what are we going to do?
You take that immediately. Okay? The only thing.
He's silencing my voice.
But
only thing I
City
want.
attorney, what is the meaning of having an item and without discussion?
Yeah.
Whenever there is an item on the agenda, every council member should be given a reasonable opportunity to address the item. Once that's been satisfied, you can do a call of the
Okay, so
question.
what is the
to stop
substance
the
we have
discussion.
already.
You are
It doesn't
talking
mean
about?
endless discussion, it
She's
means an opportunity.
speaking.
So at
She's
this
still
point here,
speaking and then you silence her.
so City Clerk, go ahead and call for questions.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, a second by Councilmember Monzo for call for question. Roll call for question. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, no.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
No.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes. So at this point here, at this time here, I would like to, is there any motion, was there a motion to approve this item?
Yes, I did.
Yes,
move
I
to
have a
approve.
motion on the
But I
floor.
do, before we go on, I want to address her concern.
But we already had
I
a
thought
call
we're
for
done
question.
talking.
We already had a call for question.
Oh, we vote already?
All right, okay.
No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't, then we can't
do it.
talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
then fine, that's fine. So there is a motion to approve this item, and there was a second too, right? Was there a
Yes.
second to that?
I have a
Councilor
motion. I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Ho, a second made by Councilmember Monzo. This is to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, censuring Councilwoman Amy Fan West, District 1, for unacceptable conduct." I'll go ahead and call roll.
Were you able to read what's in the censuring? So it's just only to censure public
Yes,
reprimand,
please.
right?
Read the whole thing.
Yeah, read the whole thing.
No, just read
You
Read what are you censuring me
We have
for?
the right
Yeah.
to ask for that.
Yes. Read out what you're censuring me for, so I'd like to hear it.
That's the discretion of the council. We are generally obligated to read the title. So if the council would like to have the entire resolution read, that's the discretion of the council.
What part of the sanction that we were talking about last time, did you guys put it in there?
Oh, so we're discussing the sanctions. So the sanctions were not included. That was.
What was the reason?
That was, so when the resolution was drafted for this agenda, it was just overlooked.
So is this still standing?
For sanctions?
Yes.
Will be brought back at the next meeting for that part?
Yes, because there was council direction to bring it back to the future meeting. Unfortunately, the sanction part was left out.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and read the censoring today, the resolution.
You want to read the whole resolution?
I don't know.
What are
I'm
you
open for
censuring me for?
recommendation.
Yeah, don't
What are you censoring me for?
don't be a
so I wanna hear
coward.
it.
You know.
I'm fine.
If you're gonna read it.
Yes, I'm fine if you want to read the entire thing, if you could quickly, because I really think that it's a waste, and especially at the request of some council members. I will allow that. I would go for that.
My point is, we as a council have this staff report already. We should be able to read that before we come to the meeting. We have been doing this for a while, and today we have a lot of items that we still need to discuss. So my recommendation is not to read the entire.
Mr. Mayor,
hold on,
may I remind you that you guys are the one that brought this up.
Let me
It is
finish.
on. Come on, read it.
Let's vote. I respect you. I respect you. You respect me.
I respect you.
Okay,
Mr.
let me
Mayor.
finish mine. Okay. So my recommendation is we need to move on because we have a lot to discuss tonight. We have many more items to
Are there
talk about.
something you're hiding,
I don't know,
you don't
but
want to
if
read?
you guys
Your
want to, then
resolution that
by
you
all
want to
means,
censure me?
you can
Come on.
motion it or.
Okay,
however
we
you
need to
want do it.
take the vote, though. We actually need to, we have the motion, but we haven't voted.
So I have,
I believe that, I hope that Vice Mayor, stand up for herself, for what,
According to the city
for what she's
attorney,
just said.
we need to take a vote.
I hope a yes from
so
you,
is there a
Vice Mayor.
motion to read the whole thing? Is there a motion to read the whole resolution?
Yes, do it. You guys want to do it. Come on.
I make a motion
I need to, yeah.
for staff
Don't we
to read
need
the
to
whole thing.
know what you're censuring me for? Come on.
Hold on. Let's hear from the city attorney.
Come on.
Yeah. There was a
Let us
motion
all know.
made to call the question, and then we voted on that. But prior to that, there was a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Okay, so we have that motion already made, and we need to vote on that motion. That hasn't occurred yet. So all we need to do at this point is vote on the motion, which is a recommendation to adopt the resolution.
Can we make
Well,
a
the
substitute
thing is
motion?
that I don't even know what you guys are censuring me for. So why don't you put it into the public record so the public can know and know exactly what you're censuring me for?
Mayor,
So I think it's really important.
Mayor,
Because it's going to be very ridiculous of what you're censuring me for. So that's why the public need to hear it.
I did.
No, because Kimberly, you should put your name to this agenda, and Carlos Manzo too, what you're censuring me for. It's really ridiculous, so please read out what you're censuring me for.
What
So then the people can look at
city attorney
this
said
circus of
that at this
council,
point here, there is no more
the vice
discussion
mayor
of this item.
and Mr.
but we are
Carlos
going to call
Manzo,
for
ridiculous accusation of
You know what?
me.
I would
So
like to
everyone
bring a
can
substitute
laugh.
motion.
Go ahead and call.
Okay, everything stayed the same, but I would like,
I don't know it's valid at this point. Like I said, I want to discuss, and
No,
you said that.
after a call to the question that passes, we go right to the motion that is on the table. So
Okay,
we have
so
to,
there is no-
we have to vote on the underlying motion.
Thank you. So call for the vote.
so I have a motion
should I
made.
make a substitute motion? No.
It's too late because the call to question motion was made and passed. That is a motion that takes precedence, and it says that when it passes, you must vote on the underlying motion that was already
So you
Made and
can't
seconded.
do so basically, when you guys are going to censure me and you don't read out what I'm going to be censured for, or the public to know what it is, then isn't it my right to know?
Okay.
Isn't it my right?
Mr. Mayor.
Or you let the activists run our city again, Mr. Mayor?
Please.
We have over 90,000 registered resident, but you allow this few
Councilmember West, we are no
7,
longer
8
discuss about it. It's
activists to
time
run
to
our
vote.
city every.
Please call for the vote.
Okay, I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Ho,
To
a
run our
second
city.
made by Councilmember Monzo. This is
ridiculous.
to adopt a resolution
What kind of
entitled,
legacy
"A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of
is
the City of
this?
Westminster, California, censuring Councilwoman Amy Fan West, District 1, for unacceptable conduct." I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West?
Wait, so you guys are just censuring me for my unacceptable conduct by the 3 communist gang dictator?
Well, we are no longer
You know
discussing about
what?
this.
Before I vote, so that's what you guys are doing, just censoring me. I understand, because the other thing you guys forgot to add on. That's fine. You can censure me. Bring it on. I welcome it. So go ahead, because you have the majority vote.
And so your
3
vote
votes.
is?
So you gonna censure me? Censure me. It's
So
fine.
your vote is?
So my vote is no, but
Okay.
go ahead.
All right.
You abuse your
Okay.
power.
Councilmember Monzo?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen?
No.
Vice Mayor Ho?
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen?
Well, before I vote, let me have a few. Councilmember West, as a mayor, my intention is to work with everyone in the council for the betterment of our community. It's always been that way to me. And I want to express that my intention is not to side with any council members.
You never give me a
Hold on,
chance to, your accusation. You never work with me. You never sit down with me.
Please,
Well, that's a
please,
lie.
please,
So you
please.
work with me? You
Please,
did
please.
not.
I want
That's why I
to-
say this was a shock when this agenda was
It's time for me
on.
to vote, please.
So, Mr.
If they don't
Mayor,
want me
that's a
to, my
lie.
vote is
That's a
yes.
lie.
We will
That's a
have-
lie.
3-2, motion carried.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a motion?
No, there's no motion at this time. It's already done.
No, I
It's
think,
already voted on.
I think I can make a motion, right?
Item 5.10. Item 5.10, the payment
Miss
of Griffin
Nam
funds.
Quang, Vice Mayor Nam
Okay,
Quang wants
Mr.
to
City
say.
Attorney, can I make a motion now?
Keep,
Now, okay.
why you keep silencing us?
Let me ask City Attorney.
Yeah, we have
Make
the
a motion now,
city
City
attorney for a
Attorney.
reason.
What is the motion about?
The motion for City Clerk to read the whole entire resolution that just censure Amy Fan West.
Absolutely. Second it.
So you could make that motion. I don't
All
know
right,
if-
thank
I
you,
don't know
Mr. Mayor.
Wait.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney.
City attorney,
if- A motion just to read the resolution.
Yes.
but we voted on that already.
Yeah, the resolution is passed. The question is whether to read it or not.
Yeah, that's normal.
Okay.
So I second it.
Then go ahead.
Okay, I hope,
Do we have to vote on that?
Vice Mayor are going to say yes.
Okay,
you know.
so there's
Keep
a
your word.
motion to read
Vice
the
Mayor,
whole
oh,
thing?
yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by Councilwoman Fan West, for myself to read the resolution into the record. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West?
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo?
No, we had multiple meetings, and pay attention, you will learn.
This is our new resolution. This is the first time you guys put a resolution on. The other was agenda item. So, Mr. Monzo, may
be a
you
coward.
correct yourself. This is a new resolution. You forgot about
Respect your
that?
vote. Now, let's respect
So,
others.
Mr. Monzo, please be correct.
Council-
Maybe listen next time, okay? Don't
Councilmember
tell me to
Nguyen?
listen. You should listen.
Councilmember Nguyen?
You listen next time, okay? Don't tell me that I need to listen.
yes.
This is a new resolution.
Vice Mayor Ho?
No, huh?
Sorry.
We'll say for you, no.
I know
Wow,
you.
it's so chaotic. Wow,
I know.
it's just chaos.
Just so you know, nobody.
No, I mean, if you would like, I would
blame you.
say I apologize to everybody for having to go sit through, but if, if she would like to hear it, and if everybody wants to hear it again, that's fine. I just ask that if you could speed through, because, we did spend three different meetings, very, very long meetings on this. And so what you wrote on the resolution is based on what we told you we wanted on the resolution. So this is nothing new, but go ahead.
Well,
I
before
would vote yes. Go ahead.
Okay, well, before, I want to clarify something with the city attorney, because there's an accusation being made. With the previous hearings that we had on this topic, legally, Councilmember West have the sufficient time to address each and every one of these items that were listed on here at previous meetings. Did she not?
That's a factual question.
So yes or no?
You add 32 items,
The
which
council determines factual.
No, I'm asking
before
you a
was
legal
21.
question.
I'm looking at it, it's 32
Don't interrupt
now.
when somebody else is talking.
May I remind you?
My question is,
Don't
Because you
try to
guys keep
intimidate our city attorney.
Yeah,
Don't intimidate the city attorney.
Okay, let him finish, and I will call you, okay?
this question is to the city attorney. You said it was a factual question, so answer the question. Did she, at the previous meetings, when we went line by
32
line,
item.
and then she was legally had the opportunity to answer each and every one of these items line by line, did she not?
We had extensive discussions at
So
prior
yes or
council
no?
meetings. Yes, we had
Okay,
extensive discussions.
so I just want to clarify that. You can't answer a simple question, yes, it's a yes or no question.
That's
Either
because
yes or
you're
no.
trying to intimidate him.
Yes.
And we all know
And the
that.
thing is that
You
there's
guys are-
32
And
items
Vice Mayor
I
Hall
counted
once
on here,
threatened
the
to
new
fire him on the
resolution.
spot. Am I right?
I wasn't
Am I
talking
right
to
or
you.
wrong?
I wasn't talking to you.
You're done. Now, between the two
So
of you,
Monzo, you like to intimidate people and even the city attorney,
you're
and
the
you
worst.
It's not because you guys have a
don't like
majority and
him.
then
I
you're
didn't.
trying to
You
intimidate.
intimidate even me.
City
Say,
attorney,
listen.
let his speak.
This
You
is
know,
a
his
resolution,
mind.
new resolution. And on here, look
Come
at it,
on.
it's 20,
And next time,
it's
vote for you guys
32
to go to
item
the
versus
Washington, D.C.
21 item that you guys accused me of. Now it's 32. It's A, B, A, C, A, D, A, E. Like, what the heck is
It seemed
that?
like we have, did you finish the call?
Mayor, I don't have your vote.
Okay, you call.
And your vote is?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, motion passed 4-1.
Thank you.
Okay. A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, censuring Councilwoman Amy Fan West, District 1, for unacceptable conduct. Whereas the City Council of the City of Westminster has a duty to the residents of Westminster to ensure that state and federal laws and the rules, regulations, and policies of the City of Westminster are followed by all members of the City Council, and that members of the City Council demonstrate the highest level of professionalism and respect while acting in the course and scope of their office. And whereas the ethics policy adopted by the Westminster City Council on May 22, 2019, ethics policy requires each council member to affirm that they understand that the citizens of Westminster expect me to serve with dignity and respect and to be an agent of the democratic process, will treat other public officials and members of city staff and the public with respect, patience, courtesy, and civility, even when I disagree with the opinions they have expressed, will be honest with other public officials, city staff, and the public, and will take responsibility for their actions, even when it may be uncomfortable to do so. And whereas complaints were recently made by other members of the City Council asserting that Councilwoman Fan West had violated the City Council's ethics policy by failing to treat all public officials with respect, patience, courtesy, and civility, and being honest with other public officials, city staff, and the public. And whereas at the June 12th, 2024 City Council meeting, the City Council agenda is an item to discuss and consider at length the statements alleged to have been made by Councilwoman Fan West, and to decide whether a resolution of censure should be prepared. Whereas during the discussion of that item, the City Council duly considered the evidence and comments presented by the other members of the City Council, as well as the comments and responses made by Councilwoman Fan West, and public comments. And whereas at the conclusion of the discussion, the City Council voted to proceed with the preparation of a resolution of censure. And whereas the City Council has determined that Councilwoman Van West's violation of the city's ethics policy, as more particularly set forth below, has brought disrepute to the City of Westminster. And whereas the City Council does not condone or approve this type of conduct or behavior and finds it necessary and prudent to declare its strong disapproval of such conduct. Whereas the City Council further determines that adoption of this resolution is necessary to affirm that such conduct will not be tolerated and to prevent such conduct from being repeated. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Westminster does hereby resolve as follows. Section 1, the City Council finds that the recitals set forth above are true and correct. Section 2, the City Council finds that Councilwoman Van West engaged in the following conduct in violation of the City of Westminster's ethics policy, which requires council members to treat all public officials with respect, patience, courtesy, and civility, and be honest with other public officials, city staff, and the public. A, violation of the Code of Ethics, Sections 2A, 2C, and 2E. Councilwoman Amy Van West constantly violates Section 2A and disrespects the speakers at council meetings by leaving the dais, texting, arguing, and engaging in verbal altercations with the speakers. She has walked out in the middle of a meeting for at least an hour to go to the back, sometimes to eat or talk on the phone, and miss voting on 3/4 agenda items. Disruptive, B. On at least one occasion when she came back, she wanted to vote on an agenda item the City Council had already voted on. C, conduct guidelines. 1, constantly violates subsection A, honor the role of the chair in maintaining order. Councilwoman Amy Van West ignored and rebelled against the chair's orders when he was trying to run the meeting and call the meeting to order, ignores the rule of order. 2, practice civility. She constantly is not civil and lacks decorum. Recently, she called the council majority weak when they did not vote with her on the substitute motion on the resolution to denounce Jane Fonda Day. D, she places her self-interest over the needs of the constituents. Examples, insisted on putting her name on council resolutions and cover letters numerous times and spending a couple hours at a time fighting for it, constantly grandstanding herself, ignoring the laws. Sure.
E, Section 11, confidential information. She violated the confidentiality of closed session information to advance her personal interests. F, Section 14, advocacy. Constantly making up stories, lying. For example, recently regarding her hot dog barbecue item, she falsely stated that the city department head had told her it was okay to do it. G, members' conduct with city staff. She does not treat staff as professional. She acts as if she was above the law. 1, disrupts the city staff from their job by staying in their office until late and by constantly calling them until they answer their phone. 2, publicly criticizes staff from the dais and lies about what employees said. H, May 24th, 2023, during council meeting, insinuated staff of hiring someone they knew through the RFP selection process for a billboard sign project. I, June 7th, 2023, filmed a live social media video insinuating staff of taking a bribe for a special treatment from a special event permit applicant for a long-standing annual
City Attorney,
event.
that's false. Why is it still on here?
Oh. Please, you are reading it?
Yeah, I'm just reading it. J, at community events, constantly moves seating arrangements to her liking. This is a violation of basic manners and decency. K, berates and uses abusive language towards members of the public in violation of the code of conduct.
Evidence. There's no evidence
Members'
in here.
conduct with the public.
You want him to read, right? You want them to read the resolution, right? Then let them finish it.
Yeah, but there's no evidence.
No.
You don't
At this
have
point,
evidence.
it's already, we already voted on that. And
Let them
you want
read.
to
Yeah.
Then
Go ahead.
let him read it, okay?
Go ahead.
L, when specifically addressed during oral communication by members of the public, she does not acknowledge or make eye contact with the speaker. This is a complete violation of the code of conduct. Practice active listening. M, constantly disrupts the meeting by passing notes and speaking with the city attorney. A violation of the code of conduct. Conduct at public meetings. N, on multiple occasions undermine the mayor's authority by insisting on signing documents in his stead. O, constantly leaving the non-agenda oral communications portion of the meetings, a violation of the code of conduct. Practice active listening. P, February 24, 2024, Huntington West Little League opening day. After arriving late, she placed herself in front of the mayor and all the elected officials who arrived early while we were already in the process of greeting the players coming out. This showed complete disrespect and lack of basic manners. Q, May 3rd, 2024, left the dais to interact with members of the public while the council meeting was still in session. R, filed false police report about a fellow council member. S, May 4th, 2024, recorded a YouTube interview.
You know that's wrong, right? The false police report, that's legally can be lawsuit. You know that, right, City Attorney? Because the police report, we have it, it says there's no crime committed at this.
Oh.
Go ahead.
S,
Go ahead.
May 4th, 2024, recorded a YouTube interview criticizing the city manager and stated false information. This violated the code of conduct, never publicly criticized an individual employee. T, May 6th, 2024, recorded a YouTube interview spreading lies and propaganda about what happened at the May 3rd special meeting, in complete contrast of the official police investigation's findings. U, trespassing in construction zone. Councilwoman Fan West posted on our social media accounts that she was riding a dirt bike at the Springdale Bridge construction site, which is a violation of the trespassing law. V, wasting taxpayers' money for having city staff in the city attorney's office draft letters to state and federal agencies for items that the city council does not have jurisdiction over. W, ethics. The citizens and business of Westminster are entitled to have fair, ethical, and accountable local government. To this end, the public should have full confidence that our elected and appointed officials use their public office for the public good, not for personal gain. Councilwoman Fan West campaigned from her office by giving an interview with the Mom Army interview in her office while she was a candidate and campaigning for the Central Committee, when she then posted on her Instagram account. X, act in the public interest, recognizing that stewardship of the public interest must be their primary concern. On May 8th, 2024, at 2:26, Councilwoman Fan West left her seat. She missed voting for item 7.1 to replace 2 panels on the wall inside the VN War Memorial kiosk. She missed public comments and did not return to her seat until 30 minutes later at 2:56. Why? And provide for the fair and equal treatment of all persons coming before them. Councilwoman Fan West disrespected the public when they came up many times to address her. She was still in the building, but was not in her seat to listen to them. A few examples on May 8th, 2024, at 2:36 regarding the sober living house topic. At 2:39, when a speaker, some concerns with Councilwoman Fan West's behavior and what the speaker would like to see changed, but Ms. West was not in her seat at 2:41. Z, putting aside self-interest and consider the needs of all residents. June 22, 2024, Councilwoman Fan West placed 3 agenda items with the sole purpose of wanting credit for herself. As a result, the council meeting dragged on until 2 a.m. Result, the public did not wait for oral communication, and most left before they got to speak. AA, conduct of members, the professional, should be above reproach and seek to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. Members should refrain from abusive conduct, personal charges, or verbal attacks of staff or the public. Unprofessional conduct, verbal attacks, 5/3/24 meeting, hour 58 and 15 seconds. West labeled all but one of the LA supervisors a socialist at 2 hours, 3 minutes, 54 seconds. Week, when the majority of the council did not vote with her to label the action of the LA supervisors as despicable, speaking in a demeaning way to the rest of the council. How she treated staff by putting words in staff's mouth, 5/22/24 meeting. AB, respect for the process. After being told the process of calling for a special meeting and placing an agenda, she still insisted on putting her name on Vice Mayor Ho's agenda item for 5/3 special meeting, accusing staff of being in cahoots. See 5/3/24, 5/8/24 meeting, and continue to argue over the process on the 5/22/24 meeting. To respect the process is to spend the time to learn the process. She does not seem to have a handle on the process. AC, conduct at public meetings, 5/3/24, meeting at 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 49 seconds. Councilwoman Fan West left her seat, was disrespectful to the mayor. When she asked to come back to her seat, she did not comply and talked back to the person in charge of running the meeting, the mayor. She talked back to the mayor, you guys have the quorum, and refused to come back. At 2:06, Councilwoman Fan West was speaking from the theater seats while Councilmember Carlos Monzo was making a statement. This is an example of lack of focus on the meeting, unprofessional behavior, lack of decorum. It did not listen courteously and attentively to the public who stand before the council. AD, no member should request or grant a special consideration, treatment, or advantage to any person beyond that which is available to every other citizen in similar circumstances or need. B, conduct guidelines. 1, members' conduct with each other. A, honor the role of the chair in maintaining order. 5/3/24 at 2 hours, 5 minutes, 45 seconds, she left her seat and the mayor asked her to come back. She talked back and did not come back. B, practice civility and decorum in discussions and debate, calling the council majority weak when we did not vote her way as stated on the previous page. 2, members' conduct with the public. Making the public feel welcome is an important part of the democratic process. On 5/8/24, meeting from 2:26 to 2:56, she left her seats during open public communications for 30 minutes. C, practice active listening. We must seek to demonstrate active listening and interest in each speaker's presentation and to avoid any pessimistic body language. West has a pessimistic body language that signals disinterest, disrespect, and condescending body language that can make the public feel like texting and doing something else, like going to the back room while they are trying to address you, is outright rude and a violation of the practice of active listening. 3, members' conduct with city staff. Treat all staff as professionals. Clear, honest communication that respects the abilities, experience, and dignity of each individual is expected. Putting words in their mouth and accusing them of something they didn't do. See 5/22/24, item 5.5, stating that the Director of Community Services said it was okay to have the barbecue on the proposed date. This is poor behavior towards staff. When staff is speaking, to explain the process or to reply to your question, give them your undivided attention. See 5/22/24, item 5.4, when the chief tried to answer Councilwoman Fan West's questions about the acts on the agenda, she continuously texted, did not listen, wasting everyone's time because she had to ask 3 times. Blame city manager for lying on the report. Councilwoman Fan West claimed that the city manager said her name would be on the report. AE, Councilwoman Fan West's press conference, 6/11/2024 at 14541 Westminster Street, Westminster, California, 92683. 2229, to address issues stemming from the May 3rd special meeting and subsequently efforts to bully and silence her, which involves a police report. 2245, she was verbally berated by the Councilmember Carlos Manzo when I spoke out against April 30th, the Jane Fonda Day. 2340, when I was leaving the dais, Councilman Manzo was waiting for me, not true and an exaggeration of what really happened. He did not block her. 2603, they tried to accuse me of stealing a $6 police report as a way to silence and bully me, but when the allegation was proven false, they came up with more false allegation that they are going to attempt to use to censure me tomorrow night. This is a lie. 2708, tomorrow night's attempt to censure me is just an underhand tactic to silence me from exposing Councilman Carlos Manzo's actions. She lies to the public to incite them and to cover up her actions. Section 3, the City Council finds that the above statements by Councilwoman Fan West were true and that her conduct in these matters were improper, unprofessional, and unacceptable and constitute a violation of the city ethics policy. The council finds that Councilwoman Fan West was acting as an individual when she engaged in this conduct and was acting without any authorization or ratification by the City Council and contrary to the legitimate interests in the city. Section 4, the City Council hereby censures Councilwoman Fan West for the conduct described herein and expresses the strongest possible disapproval and disavowal therefore. Section 5, going forward, the City Council respectfully but earnestly requests and expects Councilwoman Fan West to cease and desist from any further improper or unprofessional conduct toward the other City Council members. Section 6, the mayor shall sign as to the passage and approval and adoption of this resolution. Section 7, the city clerk shall certify to the passage and adoption of this resolution and shall affix their signature in the city seal, and that same shall be entered into the book of resolutions, passed, approved, and adopted this 14th day of August 2024.
All right, let me finish what I was about to say when I cast my vote, but I didn't have a chance to. So I just want to express that my intention is not to side with any council members to censure Councilmember West personally, but rather to address some concerns that have arisen. Understand that this action is necessary at this time. However, I believe in your potential, Councilmember West, potential for positive change, and I am committed to reversing this decision in the future if we can work together towards improvements. That's all I have, just for the record of it. So next item is 5.10. 5.10 is talking about demand of payment of GoFundMe funds to Ms. Hinson, Aline, and proposed investigation of Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho. related to the use of her title in connection with alleged GoFundMe scam to raise funds in the e-bike death of Mrs. Lan Mitai in the city of Westminster. Before we go into this, let me go ahead and express my concern. I noticed that the agenda includes a topic.
Mayor, we can't hear a thing of these people talking.
Okay, would you please, okay.
Go
I
outside
understand.
if you're going to talk.
Would you please, okay. I noticed that agenda include a topic that seemed to be outside of scope of the city business. Not to mention that it might pose a potential litigation to the city. And what I see is not involved in the city business at all. The subject on the agenda has nothing to do with the city business. It should not be agendized in the first place. But I understand from the staff standpoint, because we have the policy of two council members can bring it in, so I understand that. But concerning the validity of whether this item is a city business related or not, I would let it go depth into discussion, as it might constitute a non-necessary lawsuit. So from the agenda, like I mentioned, it has nothing to do with the city business, and the city has nothing, we are not responsible for that. So demand a payment of GoFundMe. Why demand of the payment of GoFundMe? City has no business in the GoFundMe for this. I don't understand. The second one, proposed investigation of Vice Mayor Ho to use her title in connected with the GoFundMe. That's the two things that are on the agenda today. Let me ask.
May I answer your question?
No, not, let me ask. Demand a payment of GoFundMe. Please. Why is the demand of the payment of GoFundMe? I want to ask Vice Mayor Ho, did you do anything on behalf of the city?
Wait, I thought this is my agenda. I usually the second one to speak.
No, I don't want to go in that yet. I have a question for you, because I told you
But the thing
already.
is that I
told you from the
talk
beginning
about my
already.
agenda
Hold
item.
on.
You always let other people, you let Kimberly Ho
Yes,
talk
but for
about
this
her agenda item
for
to
this
censure
item,
me.
For this item,
Then this is
we
my
are not
item.
going to talk about
We
it.
follow the
Mayor, you just
protocol.
called
We
on
waited to
me
put it
to
on the
speak.
agenda. So Mr. Mayor, do respect. It's my agenda that I have every right to say why I brought it up and why it's valid to the city of Westminster.
I agree. I have a question for you soon.
Yeah, but it's my turn to speak.
So
it's my agenda. I have the right to speak.
Please,
So my
Councilmember West,
agenda,
I stated
have the
earlier
right to
already.
speak.
I don't want to go deep until
No,
we know
that's
that
your
this is
opinion, but I
validity.
follow the protocol. We follow the Mr. City Attorney, did Mr. Nam Quang and I follow the protocol to put this on the agenda item, City Attorney?
I tried to, Mr. City Attorney,
We
I'm
want the
trying
legal
to
advice, so
determine
that way-
whether this is related to the city or not. This item is
You know what,
related to
Mr.
the
Mayor,
business.
because you don't follow the protocol, that was this council fall into
At
chaos.
this meeting here, when you bring the agenda item
So
to the
may
meeting,
I
am
address your
responsible to
concern?
ask for that question.
May I ask your concern, because you
Mayor, no, right now-
said, why is this even
Right now,
related?
I'm asking the
by the
mayor.
mayor to speak.
You say, why
And-
do I put on?
Hold on. No, you are not recognized at this time. I am asking Vice Mayor Ho, let me ask. No, I am not going into the agenda item because it might pose a potential litigation.
Follow the protocol, and we created this agenda, and it's our turn to speak, and we have the advice, to make sure this is legal. So I'm answering why this is
I have a question for you. You wait until her answer first, and I have a question for you.
I have every right to speak until.
But I am determined, because I see this is not related to city business.
Let me explain why.
Then let me ask her first, and then you.
Why you always catering to?
No, I'm not catering. I am not catering. This is not related to city business.
Your opinion. Let me
Okay, then let me ask you.
Okay, then let me tell
Hold on, let me ask her first. Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Okay, go ahead. Council.
I'd like to ask a question.
Tell you why it's
City
related
Attorney,
to the
please.
city.
City Attorney.
This is my agenda item. I asked him a question. Okay, City Attorney, can you please answer my question earlier? Please.
I would like to speak to our City Attorney.
Can I ask for
Thank you.
advice from the city attorney, please?
City
Please
Attorney.
answer my question.
Can we
City
all
Attorney?
be quiet and listen to advice from the city attorney? Including me, I will. Go ahead.
You know,
City
my,
attorney.
If I
city
may
attorney
ask our
is
city
answering
attorney
my question.
to read the
I asked the question, so can you please answer? I want the legal answer. So City
I'd
Attorney,
like to take
please.
5-minute recess.
Okay, I need to know what the question is because we got a couple questions.
We
I
asked,
call for 5-minute recess, so now we're 5 minutes recess. Please come back, 5 minutes to 10. see you up on an interview, you automatically, if you don't mind, you remember, you only one word. No, you say motherfucker to everybody in front of you. You shut up your mouth. Okay? That's what I'm telling you. Please, I ask, can you please ask Councilmember West to come back to that aspect? Would you please? The time now is 5 minutes till 10. I'd like to continue with our regular council meeting. So roll call, please.
Mayor Nguyen.
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Ho. I'm here. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West here.
Councilmember Monzo.
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Okay, before going further, I'd like to move, because we are about 5 minutes to 10, so I would like to
I
make a
second
motion
it.
to move to extend the
Yes, I second it.
meeting.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilwoman Fan West to extend the meeting past 10 p.m. per city policy. I'll go ahead and call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
Okay, let me continue with the item 5.10. Let me ask Councilmember West, again, I want to make sure that we are not going to discussion now because I'm trying to determine the validity of this item, whether it's related to the city business or not.
Yes, may I explain?
Hold on, to me, I don't think it is. And if there's any litigation on this, I can tell you right at this point, I, as a mayor, will not take that litigation And any of these council member, I don't know how they feel, but at this point here,
Yes, on
please
here,
don't go deeply into
I
discussion.
understand. I will not.
My question for you is, without going into the discussion, do you have any evidence that Vice Mayor Ho had represent the city council on this matter?
Yes, I do. So that's why, may I explain to you?
No.
On
I
this
want,
subject.
No, don't explain. Prove it to
That's
me.
why I'm proving to you. May I talk?
Can I see it?
May I talk?
Mayor, let me just say something very quickly,
yes,
very
please.
quickly, okay? Because I think this is very important. We talked about it before, about a letter being received from Vice Mayor Ho and her attorney, where they raised some concerns about saying things that would be defamatory and the city being potentially at issue. So I just want to put that out there, that either A, we could go talk about that now, or B, if we're going to proceed, everyone just needs to understand that this does not represent the city in anything that's said. And if you say something, just choose your words wisely, because if something is said that's defamatory, that is potentially on the council member who makes those statements. So I'm putting that out there.
presenting facts. I appreciate
Yeah.
City Attorney for mentioning that, because on this staff report, it's alleged. Alleged. So there's no anything defaming, okay?
I'd like to alert the city attorney. I'd like for you to stop if there is anything that you that pose to the misunderstanding or allegation, alleged for the
May I speak, though, on my
hold on.
statement?
Let me have him answer me.
So
you're taking it
anything
over.
concerning,
The-
so you're asking a question of her at this point?
If she's saying something that may lead to the potential litigation to the city or to any council member here, including me, then I need you to stop her on that.
Yeah, if it
Yeah,
leads
he
into
can
something that
interrupt.
seems to be potentially defamatory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
As best as I can.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Okay, so my statement, so you understand why this is related to the city. Kimberly Ho did this action, the GoFundMe, in her role as vice mayor. And she did this in her office in the council chamber behind here, her office behind here. And
Okay, can you stop there? Let me ask.
We have
Okay,
text
got it.
message.
I got you there. Before going deeper, let me ask Vice Mayor.
But I haven't
Did you do
finished.
this? Did you do the GoFundMe? That's
No, the question
first
is, did she
question.
meet in the
The
office?
second question is, did you represent the city to?
No, I
open
did
up
not.
Okay.
Did
so-
you do it, maybe your question should be, did she do it in her office? Ask her that.
No, I did not.
Okay,
That's
that's
a
the
lie,
answer.
because.
You know what, that's for you
Oh
to
my
prove.
gosh.
The burden
We
of
have
proof is
text
on you.
message. We have text message from Hassan, the child,
Okay.
that you meet her, you call them to meet you,
The question-
meet them in your office, and you give her $20 to help her.
So,
And you say you're going to help her with the visa
in her
to stay
response,
here.
she didn't represent.
Well, she
on
can
behalf
lie
of
all
the
she
city.
wants until we have evidence and proof of text message, and that's what you need. And that's why I'm trying to present here. The people are seeking truth. Imagine your daughter. Someone took advantage and stole
You heard it
$21,860.
from her. She did
If
not
they
sign
steal that, would
any
you?
paper.
I would
She did
like
not
to
represent.
read my
act
attorney's
like
letter
this?
to
Would you
the
act like
city
this?
council.
It's a
Mr.
alleged.
Bettenhausen.
Right here, we
I would like to
allege-
read my attorney's letter in the record, please. Okay, from Cadden and Fuller LLP. And it's dated August 14th, and it is emailed to Mayor Chi Charlie, Councilmember Amy Van West, Councilmember Carlos Manzo, and Nam Quang Nguyen, and also City Manager Christine Corden. And dear Ms. Van West, this is coming from my attorney, and members of the Westminster City Council.
You know
This
what? The
office
first thing is, I'm
represents
supposed to
Vice
present
Mayor
the
Kimberly
agenda
Ho.
item, and I have
I
not
write
even allowed to
I
present the
write
agenda item,
concerning
and Kimberly Ho get to present her. And that is, you say the walk-in litigation, why are we even talking about it?
because
City Attorney?
You want
Why?
you want our city to be sued?
Why are we even talking about it?
You want our city to be sued?
Go ahead, because what's on that letter is false, and your attorney has not done the research.
You have not done your research.
You have not done
That
your
is the
research. You call
problem.
Mr. Tung an attorney. We look at the state bar,
Okay.
and he does not have an
My
ID
question to
license.
her.
You know
My
what?
question
Get in
to
there.
her-
Let me. You want me to read the? You want
You
me
are
to
not.
read?
You are not running.
You want me?
Go ahead. Huh?
Second. That's how it always has been, but you are going rogue, Mr. Mayor. You are going rogue. Every agenda item, you talk first and you let the author of the agenda speak next. Why are you not allowing me?
I don't disagree with you on that. I don't disagree with you on that. But for this one, I already told you at the beginning, I'm trying to determine the validity of that item. And if it's not, then I ask you the question. I asked you the question, and I asked her for the answer, and she refused. She did not. So that's...
He's willing to interrupt. He's willing to interrupt. So let him interrupt if I say something that's illegal. So let me finish. This is my process. This is unacceptable, Mr. Mayor. You have gone rogue on your agenda item.
That's fine. That's fine.
You have gone rogue because your favoritism over Kimberly Ho. That is so evident. Mayor. Who is the author of this agenda 5.10? It's me. Let me.
I told you already. I understand. That's the process. But this item, I need to determine the validity of the items. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I'm asking you, and I determine. My determine is that not.
Mr. Mayor, you are breaking the law. You are breaking the law.
That's okay.
That's okay?
That's what you accuse me. That's fine. Okay. So, okay. At this point here, what I asked her a question, and I asked Vice Mayor for the answer. The answer was not. She did not represent the city. There is nothing to do with the city here. So, I want to entertain to. Not to discuss the item. That's my motion.
That's unacceptable because there's a due process, Mr. Mayor. We waited our turn, we have the process, and my process is to speak on my item.
Is there a second to this? I make a motion not to further this, and we can defer it at later time. At this time, I don't think it's validity and it's related to city business, and my motion is not to discuss this. So is there a second to that? Okay. Is there a substitute motion to this?
I can't even talk. How can I
Okay.
make a motion?
There is no. Okay, go ahead.
You know,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. No,
yeah, I would like to make a substitute motion. I want this item to be discussed today.
Okay.
Not to defer.
Is there a second
I
to the
second
substitute
it.
motion?
I second it because
Okay.
that is
All right.
our
There is
due
a substitute
process,
motion on the
Mr.
floor.
Mayor.
Go ahead and call for the vote.
Mr. City Attorney,
for the
this
vote.
is illegal. You cannot even vote on the agenda. It's due process. I have every right to talk about my agenda. I didn't even talk about it.
That's how
I have a substitute
Mr. Mayor, I
motion.
want to ask you the legality of this.
I'm not
The
going to
due
risk
process.
the
We've
city
waited our turn to put it on.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. City Attorney.
why when it's
Why
come
are
to,
you so afraid?
Vice Mayor Hall,
in
then
cahoot
you decided to
with
defer
Ms.
it to the
Kimberly Ho
later
and
time.
are you protecting her,
you know,
Mr. Mayor?
And for censure,
If
and,
something illegal as this, you cannot turn a blind eye to it, Mr. Mayor.
for censure and Amy, you guys do it quick.
I told you the two
You don't
items
want.
are
It's my due
different, okay?
process.
This item, I want to define the validity of the
City
items,
Attorney,
whether it's
legally,
related to the city business.
legally, is it, I have every right to talk about my agenda. I haven't even talked about
Okay, well, you second the motion, the
I
substitute
cannot,
motion. Did
you go
did
wrong,
you-
Mr. Mayor.
Let me ask you, did you second the substitute motion?
What
Because you
substitute?
forced
I have
us
not,
to.
I have not. The thing is that you forced me, my due
Thought that
right.
She said
I
substitute,
know,
the
but it's
second
my
says
due
substitute
right
motion.
to
Call
do that.
for
No,
vote.
that's illegal.
I have
Mr. City Attorney, I want to
substitute
ask
motion.
you for the legality. Do I have my due process to speak on my agenda item? I have not even spoken.
No, for this one, because
No,
it's
that
not
is your
related to
opinion,
city
Mr.
business.
Mayor. You are going rogue and you're breaking the due
I
process.
do not allow if something is
You are
not related
breaking
to city
the due
business.
process.
It's very clear
that's
that
my-
it is
You
not
are
led
breaking the
to
law,
And the
Mr.
decision
Mayor.
is by the council members.
Why are you
Okay, so
silencing
why
my
don't we
voice
vote
when the
for it?
agenda items on
Mr. Mayor,
here?
you
Go ahead
are
and call vote for it.
No, you did not. That's
catering to
illegal.
advise
I'm
the
asking
council. Don't
Mr.
be a
City
coward.
Attorney, my legal right. Mr. City
that's all right.
Attorney,
Don't
what
worry.
is my legal rights?
We have substitute
What
motion.
is my, no,
have a
what is
motion
my
and a
legal right?
substitute.
The substitution is invalid. What is my legal right, Mr. City
It's
Attorney?
invalid. Why you second it?
Why is he going rogue?
I don't
Why
know
is he
why.
not letting me speak about my agenda item? What is my
Okay,
right?
Let me ask you, okay?
What is
Are
my
you
right,
seconding-
Mr. City Attorney?
Are you second him
What is my
on the
right?
substitute motion?
What is
Answer
my right?
question.
No, I'm asking the city
I
attorney.
am asking
The
you,
legal,
are
you
you-
have no legal. You're not attorney, Mr. Mayor. Mr. City Attorney, what's
you
my
want me
legal
to speak?
rights?
Okay, yes,
What is
please.
my legal rights?
Okay, if an item is properly put on the agenda, you have to at least allow each council member an opportunity to speak to
Yes.
that item. Once that's done, you've met your requirement, and then a motion can be made.
Exactly, Mr.
Exactly.
Mayor.
Now-
You're going rogue
Now-
on us.
This one.
What kind of mayor is that?
No,
I asked the question to decide. the
Now you hear
No,
the
no, no.
truth, the
It's
legal
obviously that
rights,
you are
Mr.
trying
Mayor.
to
Mr.
silence
Mayor, you
us.
heard the legal rights, so let us speak. Don't break the law, your
I'm
law.
not breaking the law because
You are, he just told you, everyone speak, let me speak, then go through the council, and then you make a motion. That's
Okay.
what he just said.
let me
That is
understand
illegal.
you, city attorney. What did you tell me before the meeting? What did you tell me when I asked you about this item? We have to talk about the validity of the
Yes.
item
That's what I'm
before
saying.
we move on.
Yes.
Didn't
Mr. Mayor,
you tell
don't
me
try
that?
to intimidate
That's
the
exactly
city
what I
attorney.
do. Now you are changing your.
Please don't intimidate, no.
Tell me.
No, I'm not.
See, he said he's not,
No.
Mr. Mayor.
You're 100% correct. The question, the sole question to be asked is how is this
The process.
item related to city business? That's the only question.
That's exactly what I
Just
asked earlier.
yes,
didn't I?
and as soon as the council feels that question, that a reasonable amount of time has been given to answer that
This is a
question,
legal question.
you
He doesn't-
can take a motion to determine if it's
Yeah,
properly
after.
discussed
That's what
or
I
not.
asked earlier.
Yeah.
And I also asked Vice Mayor Ho to respond to that. That's the reason why I make the decision to make a motion. So now what do you
No.
want? You want to go ahead and conduct this? Go ahead, on my behalf.
Okay, so
No.
my
Mr.
turn.
Mayor,
Thank you, let me
you are
speak.
threatening
Mr.
the city
Mayor, don't
attorney.
threaten the city attorney, and please, this isn't a normal protocol. You know this, you run meetings for the last year and a half, Mr. Mayor.
I am not going to
You know
risk
any
the
agenda
city
item, you let
for-
the author speak.
Let her talk.
You let the
and then
author speak,
let
and now
me
you're just
talk.
going rogue.
I haven't got a
And you're
chance to talk
silencing my
yet.
voice, yes.
I'm her second.
I
Yes.
am trying to decide whether.
You have
You
run
jump into
this.
conclusion.
Yes.
You want to defer this to another time.
Yes.
No, you try to,
no,
you try to
that's
silence
ridiculous.
us. You try to
Until
not
we
give us
are
the
clearly
protocol.
defined this is
No,
city related,
he just said
then I will
it.
go
City
on.
attorney, just give us the legal process. That he said we need to talk, each one of us, and then
Unless
your motion
you hear
later.
me out, hear her out, and then you determine.
Yes.
And then you come to
deep
conclusion.
into that, when we
You
go-
haven't heard about me yet, right?
When we go deep into that, it's already open a can of worms. I'm
No, it's
trying to
not.
determine
We
whether
know
this
the
is-
protocol.
this
We
is-
say allege on this.
The right thing to do is to have this in
So
closed
it's
session.
my turn, like what Mr. City Attorney said, I'm going to have that right, I'm going to use that right now to speak. And then whoever council want to talk on it, go ahead, because I'm following the legal protocol and my legal rights. So I'm going to do it. Okay, thank you, Mr. City Attorney, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the council for letting me speak on my item. Okay, so the thing is that I'm going to read my statement again because you interrupt. Okay, so Kimberly Ho did this, which Agenda 5.10.
Again, solely related to whether it relates to city business.
Yes.
That is
so Kimberly Ho did this as her role as a vice mayor, and she did this in her office in the back of the chamber here. Our office is back here. We have text message from the child Hassan of this meeting in the office of Council Vice Mayor Ho in the council chamber back here. Doesn't that constitute city business? And it's completely relevant, and this will impact our council here and the city of Westminster reputation. And that raised a lot of questions for me and for the community, and this is a reason why we have this item on the agenda today. So regarding Ms. Kimberly Ho, you know, she promised. This is what I'm going to read from Mike Vang Tao. Mike Vang Tao. This is what he said. Okay? Dear all, we're writing, this is from Mike Vang Tao.
Mayor,
we write to you regarding the tragic e-bike accident on Bosa Street, Westminster.
How come Mike Vang Tao
Which results,
I was not here.
but I'm reading
she
the evidence, which I have on here as well.
We're trying to protect our city.
I want a
Result in the ultimate death of Ms. Hassan's mother. During this devastating time, Ms. Hassan received support from many individuals, most of whom act honorably. Unfortunately, Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho did not. Instead of helping or supporting Hassan, Ms. Vice Mayor has caused Hassan so many trouble and loss.
Allow them to do so.
Vice Mayor Ho at this time present herself in an official capacity, offering assistance to Ms. Hassan. The troubles began at the office of Vice Mayor Ho, where later she introduced Mr. Tung Wing as a reputable attorney. However, we have since learned that Mr. Tung Wing has a history of unethical behavior within the Vietnamese community,
who is not here right now. I don't think that's the validity of the.
We don't have a copy of
The
that
thing
letter.
is that I'm reading, that's my right.
attorney.
That's my right, my time to read the comments of the guy,
Okay.
Mike Vang Tao at this time. Mike Vang Tao was there with Kimberly Ho and Carlos Menzo at the funeral since then.
Exactly.
And you guys came to the funeral.
They went to the funeral.
Yes, you did.
And you guys even asked for the
That's
plaque.
not illegal, but you guys were there, so I'm saying you guys, the
represent,
council,
you know, the whole
represent
city.
city.
I'm not there as a council member. There as
You guys, no, you were
You
there
guys
as
planned
Vice
to have
Mayor
a
Kimberly Ho
plaque
talking about
to
e-bike
present to
agenda.
the family of Ms.
Yes,
Hassan.
for 40 minutes without sending condolence, Ms. Ho, to the family. But Mr. Menzo did. Okay? So what I'm saying is you guys were here in the capacity of your elected official since day one. Ms. Kimberly Ho here in the city chamber, the council chamber. It happened here, it happened in our city. And if someone, you know, raise this money with that title to get money into this little kid to help her, then that is a good thing. But if you do it, give that money to the kid. Why the community and Ms. Hassan, Bear Hassan asked, where's the $21,860? If you fundraise for the Bea, the child, then why didn't you give it to her? She can really buy food with $21,000. I know, Ms. Kimberly Ho, you say you're worth $20 million.
You can take it outside, do whatever you want to do, but it's not the
doesn't
city
mean anything
business.
to you.
See, they have nothing to do with it.
If you fundraise
Then
that
why we have to
money,
waste time and
then
resources?
please give that money to the child.
Okay.
And she
At
even
this
tell
time
me
here-
right now she's busting table
At
at
this
a
time,
Chinese restaurant
I got the direction
to get
from-
money to live,
From the
and
city
she ride
attorney
her
that we
bike.
can move on.
Okay, she ride her
because
bike to bus table to 11:30 at night. And you promised to help fundraise for the Bea, the child,
Okay.
who's 19 years old, Miss Kimberly Ho.
I'm trying to.
Then you
I'm
should
trying to
give
go
her
back.
that $21,000. Why are you making this kid who lost her dad and her mom and now she has no
Councilmember
family
West.
member, and you wouldn't give this $21,000 to this child. Now she has
Councilmember
to
West.
bus table at a Chinese restaurant to make money by riding her bike to live.
Councilmember
To
West.
live and to take
Councilmember
an
West.
ESL class.
I'm asking you,
Why,
are you
why
seconding?
would you do that?
Are you seconding
If you have a
the
heart.
substitute motion?
Okay.
If you have a heart, Ms. Vice Mayor, like you should give her that
All
money.
right, let
Thousands, nothing
the
to
city
you.
attorney say.
We have a motion already on the table.
We have a substitute.
Okay,
And
to
a
take no
substitute.
action, and a substitute motion to continue the discussion. So take the substitute motion first.
The thing is that,
Okay.
didn't, Mr. City Attorney, didn't
Okay,
you
call
want
for
every
substitute motion
council
first, please.
to speak unless they don't have anything to speak? Isn't that the normal
I have a substitute
protocol?
motion made by Councilmember Nguyen,
Isn't
seconded
that
by
normal
Councilwoman
protocol?
Fan West, to continue discussion of this item. I'll go to call roll call for the substitute motion to continue discussion on the item. Councilwoman Fan West?
The thing is that we haven't even go through our legal process, City
then
Attorney.
vote yes to
City
continue.
Attorney, this is so illegal, breaking all the protocols.
It's up to you, Councilmember
I
West.
haven't
If
even
you don't agree,
finished
then
my
you vote
statement.
yes
The
to
other
continue,
council,
right?
my second, couldn't even make a statement. What kind of process is this?
Then if
This is not even a legal process
if
that
you
you're doing, City
disagree
Attorney. You just mentioned that we have this legal process. Let us finish through this legal
Councilmember West,
process.
you want to continue this
Because
item or not?
this is dangerous
You want to continue
water
this item or not?
that we are walking through
You
when
want
we
to
go
continue to
rogue.
discuss this item or
And you
not?
are allowing the majority to get us into
I am asking
lawsuit.
you a question. Do
Mr. City
you want to
Attorney,
continue
what
this
is the
item or
legal
not?
process? Let us finish the legal
No.
process
Right now-
of things on the agenda.
Right now, there's a substitute motion.
No, the legal process is
you don't
our
want to
right for
continue
the
this
agenda item. You cannot break this agenda item. You
let
know,
me ask you.
every council member from Newport
Do you
Beach,
want to
Garden
continue
Grove,
this item
Huntington
or
Beach,
not?
know that is their legal process.
you don't
That is their legal
I-
process, and
I
we go
think
back to the
you
legal.
know what, I think,
Legal process do not
I think
lie.
Councilwoman Fan West had the right to speak on her item.
Yes, and
Now, if-
Mr. Nam Quang
then
has his
you don't
right.
make a motion. It's up to your
Mr.
motion.
Nam Quang has the right. Mr. Nam Quang has the right to
let
speak
her
on this
speak.
item as well. That's the legal process. Mr. Mayor, you have been running the mayor.
That's all right.
This
I am
role
asking
for the
you.
last year and a half.
Censure item, you
know
allow
the
Vice
process,
Kimberly
Mr.
to
Mayor.
talk for
So
hours
please.
and
So
Congressman
please
to
don't
talk
go
for
rogue on
hours.
us and cause us
Then let she
lawsuit.
talk.
Just remember.
Mr. Mayor.
Don't even do that to me, okay? Because I have her talk an hour and a half on that.
No, let her
let her
talk.
finish.
Again, this is her item.
No.
Let she speak.
Mr. Mayor, you've been running the meeting for a
order.
year and a half
This
as
is not
mayor.
Mayor,
related to the
please keep
city
order.
business, okay?
Mr. Mayor,
So,
you
yes,
have run
that's the
meetings.
reason why you
You
make a
should
substitute
know.
motion. She second.
No, please keep order. We don't.
That
We
is the
cannot
legal
conduct a
right.
business here when people are talking.
Okay?
That's
So
the
let
legal
me
rights.
ask, do
That
you
is
want
our
to
legal rights.
continue
If Ms.
to
Kimberly
discuss-
Ho and Ms. Monzo doesn't want to speak, then that's fine. But this is our
When you
agenda
break the
item.
protocol, then
This is our agenda
there's a
item.
chaos.
I have the right to speak, my legal rights, to speak on my item.
Keep order.
And Ms. Nam Quang
keep
has his
order.
right to speak as well.
Take a
order.
recess.
Let me ask you one more time, Councilmember West. Do you, please, let me ask you this question. Do you want to continue this item or not?
My legal right to speak on my agenda item, that's what City Attorney said. I'm going to
The answer
follow
is
that.
yes or no.
I'm going to follow what City Attorney legal rights for me
am asking
as
you.
a council member
There
elected
is
by
a
the
substitute
people,
motion.
and I follow the process. That is my legal process, and I'm going to continue to follow my legal process.
Let me remind you one more time, Councilmember West. Councilmember Member Nguyen already make a substitute motion to continue this item, and you second it. Okay, now are you
Mr. Mayor, my legal process, I'm going to follow that legal process.
Then
You
why you
cannot
second
stop.
it?
You cannot stop me from my legal
I
process to
am
have
asking
things on
you
the
whether
agenda.
you second it or not. If you don't
We
second it,
have
then it's
no,
failed.
this is my legal process. City Attorney has just verified that Mr. Mayor, please do not go rogue.
I have talked
You
to-
have run this meeting for so long. You know, Mr. Mayor, please do not favor Kimberly Ho and your gang of three. Do what's right.
Okay.
Do
All
what's right. Follow the process. If the agenda item, you always let the author speak.
You seconded the
May I speak? May I have my
motion,
legal right to
but
speak
then right
on
now,
my
I don't know
agenda
whether
item?
you are seconded it or
My
you are
legal
withdraw your
right,
second.
my agenda item, this is my agenda item. I follow the process to
Okay,
put it
I
on.
have- I
And I
have-
got my second, and we didn't even have a chance to
advice from
speak.
the city attorney that we need to
No,
move
he
on
already
with this.
said that
Okay.
our legal rights,
And you
I have to
you
finish,
talked
and then the
enough.
council,
You
or the
have
council
talked
want to
enough.
speak, they can speak on this item,
Mayor, why
and then
don't you
you
let
guys
her
go
talk, and we
vote.
get
That
it
is the
over
legal
with.
process. Why are you
Then why
going
you make a
rogue,
substitute
Mr.
motion for?
Mayor? Are you trying to protect her? Are you trying to protect Ms. Vice Mayor Ho?
I told you from the beginning,
The
I'm not
people
trying to
deserve
protect
the
any-
truth.
I
That
am
is our
trying to
job.
protect the city.
Mr. Mayor, your job as mayor and council is to help and serve the people. When the people bring concerns up,
Let me ask you one more time, Councilmember West. Do you want, it's my question to you is very clear. You want to continue to discuss this item or not? Yes or no?
my legal rights to speak.
Okay, so if I ask you one more time, if you don't answer, I assume that the substitute motion is failed. Okay, Councilmember West, if you, do you want to continue this item or not? You seconded the item. Are you continue? Okay, I assume that you withdraw your, okay.
Our legal rights to speak. Our legal right to speak. Let us speak, because this is, we follow the protocol.
Hey, I'm not wasn't
Carlos
talking to
Renzo, do not
threatened
intimidate
him.
city attorney. You have one vote, remember that. I know you want to fire city attorney all the time, so stop it. Stop intimidating city attorney.
Okay,
We are his boss.
I take a 5-minute press reset and come back in 5.